right, this is fun. We're live on Fox Sports Radio. Hello and welcome to Draft Night Live. I'm Jenny Taft here to just have fun with the conversation. I'm with the experts, and I know everyone knows them so well. Fox NFL insider Jay Glazer is here. This is number 20.
I think 23.
23 for
Something
you.
like that, yeah.
That's incredible.
Listen, I went to Pace College, which is an accounting school, but I went for mass media, so I don't know how to count properly. 2004 was my first, so four,
That'd
and
be
then, right?
22 years, my guy.
I'm letting everyone else do the math for me.
23? No, 23,
23,
right?
22.
23 years in the
Okay,
NFL,
there we go.
and I started
There we
in
go.
04.
I love
23.
that. Well, he's the pro. I cannot
go.
wait for the insight.
Well, my first draft was
the math of it
1991.
would be 22, but
My first draft working was 1991. I look good for this age, don't I?
Golly.
Preach it.
Looking
I wasn't
good.
even in high school yet, and I'm old.
Well, we also have a College Football Hall of Famer in LaVar Arrington. Good
Hi,
to
everyone.
see you.
Good to see you, Jenny.
Looking forward to this?
I mean, listen, I try to be better every single year. Jay comes in and rocks out like nobody's business. I just try to be that guy that can bring a little bit of value to what Jay brings to the table, and obviously you driving the show and having Terry here. This is an exciting one here, and the draft is in my hometown.
How about that?
How about that?
And I'll have a
Shots
couple-
out to the 412.
I'll have a couple surprises for us as always tonight, and I love that Terry Fontenot could join us. Especially, you had the biggest news of the last two drafts, pretty much, right? And trading your first round pick to the Rams for James Pierce, then obviously also drafted Michael Penix a couple years ago.
It's going to be boring
Which,
without me,
yeah,
right?
it's-
Who's going to see the boring
It's
guy?
exactly right.
So good to have you, Terry. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
excited to be here. I didn't get the memo. Like, you look like a player right now.
Oh,
Like, you are
okay.
swagged out.
You look like you can play right now, too, though.
Like you do.
Yeah, I think he looks like a player
Right?
too.
He
I
looks
mean,
like he can play.
You
And
know,
they can't even see your shoes.
I know,
Shoes
man.
make the whole outfit pop. Come on, man. That
so-
is-
Love
that's
it.
different
Love
right
it.
there.
Before we get to all this, gag, I want to kind of, just sum up this draft a little bit. Remember last year we started,
Set the scene.
and I was like, hey, last year, you had the first time you had a different category why you took guys off boards, and it was like, well, you took a guy off boards usually if they had an injury history, took guys off the board for character, but last year was like took guys off the board because don't love football. Well, this year you don't have that at all. There are really not character concerned guys like you normally have in different drafts. There aren't guys that you think, and maybe because the NIL, they stayed in a little bit longer, so they matured a little bit. But you just didn't have that in this year's draft. And you and I talked about it the other day also. Wasn't a lot of character concerned guys. Now, talent-wise, this isn't a great draft. And as a result, there's a lot of teams have already said to me, I don't know if I want to stock up on picks for this year, but maybe next year. So talent isn't terrific. Next year's draft, I know it's going to be a lot more quarterbacks than this year's draft.
That's
but
what makes it exciting, though, Jay, because you kind of know those top, if you call it top 10-ish guys, but then it's going to get to a point to where you get in this draft, you get to pick 12, you get to some of these picks, and there's going to be a guy that's picked that another team might have him in the second round.
Right.
And there's going to be some guys that people expect to go higher, they're going to go lower. So I think this draft gets flat really quick. So that just makes it really
flat
exciting.
as in like those top prospects, it falls off pretty quickly, probably after like 10, right? Somewhere like 8 or 10.
Maybe a little,
maybe a
different
little
teams.
earlier, yeah.
You've heard some teams say they've got 15 players in the first round or whatever it is, but that thing's going to fall to a point to where, and I think we're going to have more trades, and it's going to be unpredictable.
Boy, there's so much to look forward to. Is there anything that you've got your eye on specifically, LaVar, before we get this thing started?
It's generally the same kind of approach to me. I look at it as who are going to be the top linemen that go, because you build from the inside out. Obviously, you build from. And listen, I'm not GM, but I will say the way I've always looked at it, if you're good in the trenches, everything else seems to fall in line and fall into place. Obviously, the Mendoza pick, it's interesting. There's been so many different takes and thoughts on who he is and what he will be. I think he is a winner. I think he has an it factor. And it's just, it'll be interesting just to see what the commentary is, because as the guys are mentioning, this isn't considered to be what would be a air quotes deep in talent draft. But I think that there are a lot of guys in this draft that will make teams a whole lot better as they get further down the road in them being an NFL player.
By the way, I love seeing Terry Bradshaw go out there with the turbo towel
How about
on
that?
stage there. My brother for, again, 24 years there, doesn't go back to Pittsburgh a lot. To see him with that smile on his face, I love that, man.
I was just
That's
going to
great.
say,
That's
look
great.
at that smile.
That's great. That
Oh.
is great.
I love the
seeing that, man.
Steelers.
Yeah.
That's so
I love
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah,
you know,
to
'cause
see
Jack
this town
Ham-
also, a million
Jack-
people there, it's great.
Oh man,
This
it's-
crowd.
Yeah,
This is
it's
incredible.
amazing. Well, you knew they was going to turn out in Pittsburgh. Come on, we football town.
And tomorrow night we got a recreation of a little thing I put on in my house earlier this year. We got Wiz Khalifa and Brett Michaels.
That's the
They're
Pittsburgh
playing,
guys.
right?
No
They're
way,
playing.
really?
Yep. Oh yeah, they played at my house in September.
I'm waiting for the invite,
Yep.
Jay.
Go to my Instagram. It's on the gram.
I'm waiting
They're
for
the
the
best.
invite.
Those two,
house is
those two, and
unbelievable.
I
OT
live here and
Genesis.
didn't get the invite. Hey.
But
I
it's
was
pretty
probably
funny.
sitting at home looking at it on social, like, oh, they're having a good time.
We are having a good time.
All right. Well,
thanks,
hey,
Jay.
guys, we know the Raiders on the clock. It's
Yep.
official. The countdown's on. Do you want to stay talking a little bit more
Yeah,
about
and
Fernando Mendoza?
just a reminder to all the fans out there also, this year's different. It's now 8 minutes
Sure.
for these first round
So it'll
picks
be
instead of
quicker.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, so if you think like those trades are going to have to be done a lot quicker, right? And also, instead of just sitting on the clock. Now, I do want to text the Raiders right now because the draft has begun. Like, hey, man, those of us with ADHD, like you don't need 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes. To
I
take this
remember
pick.
you said
Let's do
that
it, all right?
last
Let's
year.
Go. And I did text someone to do
Yes.
it, and they made the pick, right? And yeah, it was pretty funny. But
You gotta hold it for
what
a
are we
little
doing
bit
here?
because you never
The
know
league
when
makes you?
somebody. No,
Oh.
but you never know. Now, at the first overall pick, you don't have to hold it. But once you get past that point,
Right.
you don't know when something's
Sure.
going to come up with a trade. So you know who you're taking when you're there. You know who you're taking, but you hold it a little bit longer just in case.
For the entertainment value. I mean, let's be honest. Y'all,
So-
you guys know what you want to do.
So when I remember one of my first drafts, and this is back in New Orleans, and Tom Benson, God rest his soul, but I remember Tom Benson wanted you to hold it till the end for the entertainment.
Sure.
He liked the advertisement for the Saints and those
Absolutely.
things. So, but as a GM, when you're in that seat, you want to hold it just in case. You're getting calls, you're weighing things out, and maybe somebody wants to come up.
Okay, now, can I ask you this? Just in case, what's been the shortest amount of time that the just in case changed during your tenure time? Because I always feel like if you don't already have it figured out going into it, then I don't know. Am I wrong for saying something ain't right? Something just isn't right if you're not ready to go with especially the first one.
No, you're ready to go, but there's been plenty of times when you're on the clock.
Somebody gave you something better.
And I would say 2 or 3 times for me, the GM calls us next and says, we'll give you this if you move down 1 pick. And they just want to ensure that they get their guy, and you got to weigh that out. You don't always choose to do it, but you got to weigh that out.
Boy, well, it's emotional for me watching Fernando sitting with his family just because I did really cover him a lot this year, right? I feel like I watched his evolution, and Terry and I were chatting about this before we went on air. First time I sat with him, I said, he feels like Kirk Cousins. And now he gets that comparison a lot. Now they're going to be together as kind of a mentorship role, but seeing him with his family, I know some had strong opinions about him not being there, but I think it's really special given his mom and
The
his
first time
family.
I saw him playing on TV, I said the exact same thing because he's kind of robotic. And the way you can see him sitting on the sideline, he's kind of processing things, and he's a football nerd, all those things. And so the Kirk Cousins makes so much sense. That's going to be a nerdy quarterback room in a good way.
But the
way.
difference between him and Kirk is if he messes up, his give a crap factor is 0.
So true.
He just comes right back and he'll gut you, right? He'll make you pay. That's why I love it. Look, I talked to Brady about it the other day. He loves this
excited?
guy. Loves him. So excited. And also just in talking to him, he's like, man, the way he understands things and spits stuff out, but how much the questions he asks, how much he wants to learn.
Sure.
And yet Tom is going to be working with him quite a bit. And it was funny because I was talking to somebody today about it saying, well, you know, who knew Tom Brady was going to be like that? I said, if Tom Brady knew he had Tom Brady to tutor him every day, it'd be a much better chance he turned into what Tom Brady was.
That would be
Yeah.
very different.
And he's so smart. He's so smart, right? Fernando, like just
Right.
the likability factor, the work ethic, and you know, I'm always going to remember that interview after the Big Ten championship game.
Yep.
We're flipping champs, so hopefully we get more of those for him with
that's-
the Raiders, right?
Yeah, and I think for them also, like it was a no-brainer because the quarterback draft. This is probably the worst I remember in a while. Not just up in round 1. I do think you'll have
It was
2 quarterbacks
supposed to be
go.
a good
I
year,
think you'll
too.
have him. I think you'll have Ty Simpson will go in the first round.
You do.
as well. Yep. But then after that, it's such a huge drop.
And that's
off.
how it goes.
Right.
You know, you go back 2021 draft, there's 5. The next year, 2022, there's a couple. There's like 2, and you can't. So it's so cyclical when it happens.
But next year's a good one.
Yeah, we said that last
Supposedly.
year, Jay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
said that last
This
year.
one was supposed to be a good one.
Yeah.
We said so. You just
That's
never
true.
know until you really see it play out. But to be the Raiders, like I envy the Raiders right now. I mean, to have Clint Kubiak, the most important relationship is between the play caller and the quarterback, to have Clint Kubiak and, like you say, Tom Brady's in the building, to have Mendoza, what's special about him is what he does from the pocket. The processing is the most important trait for a quarterback. What can he do from the pocket? Again, he's a football nerd. That's really exciting. They got to be exciting in baseball.
Yeah, and by the way, the
Andrew
draft
Luck,
starts here.
by the way. I know you guys are throwing out a lot of different names for him. I get Andrew Luck vibes from Mendoza.
I see that.
I get Andrew Luck. Like, he does have the intelligence. Andrew Luck. He's got that quirky type of feel about him. Andrew Luck. Hitting, kind of sneaky type of athleticism. Andrew Luck. Fierce competitor, can make the play when the play needs to be made. Andrew Luck. And they wore the same colors to finish their careers, right? Like, wasn't it like what was that? What was that considered that color? Burgundy? Will we say that's a burgundy color? I think that's what they went with. You know, it happened to be coincidence.
Did you ever have?
But those are good comparisons.
Were you ever on the clock and someone called to make a trade with you? There just wasn't enough time.
No.
Okay.
No, never. No. It's always you're going to do it in enough time to be able to get it done. So no, that's never happened.
And by the way, with this again, Mendoza goes here. Then everybody thinks, okay, this is where the draft starts. Of like, hey, the question marks. I think the guy who's really kind of first on everyone's draft boards is or the majority of defensive end, David Bailey.
Yep.
Everybody thought it was going to be Arvell Reese going to the Jets. I don't. I think it's David Bailey.
I think it's
and then
Bailey.
I think again, but this is where the subterfuge really begins.
We're going to take a quick break, guys. Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio with Jay Glazer, Terry Fontenot, LaVar Arrington. I'm Jenny Taft. We're going to be right back with the first pick.
Bailey.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance.
But yeah, let's jump into this. Of course, we talked about, again, former NFL general manager. This is obviously go time. This is the crazy time for you all getting ready for the draft. Walk me through a team and how you kind of balance between the need or best player available, right? The holes you're trying to fill, or, hey, we got to go get that guy. He's available. How do you manage the two?
You got to take the best player off the board. You're trying to make your football team better, so you got to take the best football players, you know. Now, what a lot of people don't say is most of the time you're going to have players in a category that can fit either area. So if you're looking at pass rusher, a receiver, and a running back and a defensive tackle all in the same category, you can pick one of them. So in that way, you just can't dip down and take a lesser player and not – look, we had a running back a couple of years ago that had over 1,000 yards rushing and was a really good running back, and we took Bijan Robinson, but we weren't passing up Bijan Robinson to take a lesser player at guard or something else. So you just got to add impact players to your football team.
Here's my issue, Terry, and I'm not trying to disrespect your profession. I'm not. I think it's a total crapshoot in the draft. I've seen so many drafts, so many players, not picked, and and then you go back and go, how did they not take him? How did you not take him? Isn't it a crapshoot no matter what the resume or the tape shows you in college? Do you really know? And I'm dead serious. Like, for the most part, not everybody. Yes, there's people you can look at. People let Aaron Rodgers slip all the way down. This guy's a Hall of Famer, 4-time MVP. He sat there on draft night as people decided that, no, we're not going to take him for whatever reason. And I can go on and on and on about other players. Lamar Jackson. I mean, franchises could have had him. This guy's won 2 MVPs, almost 3. How does this happen? despite all the staff you have, despite all the scouting, despite all of the stuff that's being done, people still miss on really good players.
Look, it's 50-50 in the first round. If you look at the analytics of it, it's about 50-50 in the first round. And as you go through, it continues to diminish. So you're right. It's a big time. Look, you go all the way back to Brock Purdy's a really good player. He was the last pick, and they took a quarterback in the first round that year. And so I know exactly what you're saying. You put a lot of work into it, but there's just so many variables that it's not a perfect science. And that's why you have to put so much time into trying to find the right guys for your team that are going to fit you. And it is extremely challenging, but it's just like you said, there's such a high failure rate. People don't realize that it is hard to make it in the NFL. It is a hard game. There's so many different pressures. So you got to do the very best you can to cut down that failure rate and bring in the best players that you can, but it's challenging.
Terry Fontenot on with the Odd Couple, Rob and Kelvin, on a Trash Talking Tuesday. I want to ask you this. We see the height, the speed, the strength. We all get that. When you're going in, you know that, you see it, maybe you see the combine or a pro day. How important then is the actual meetings, right? We hear all the questions that are asked, the personal questions. Maybe the background might be a little sketchy, had some issues. How do you juxtapose the two? Like, man, the talent is amazing, but got some stuff. Or vice versa. The talent is good, but man, they're a great guy.
Just like you said, it's such a high failure rate, and it's so hard to make sure to hit on all these guys. So that makeup component is so critical, and you have to know exactly what you're getting. Sometimes it's the mental and knowing if this guy's going to have the intelligence. It's hard. You hear him call plays, and you've heard these quarterback call plays, and so having a guy that can master this playbook, that can go through that mental part of it. Again, it's really challenging in the league to manage all the things you have to. So those meetings are important, and to be able to really get down to who that player is. Does he fit your culture? Is he going to fit your locker room? The last thing you want to do is draft a player at whatever point, and that coach comes down the hall and says, he can't learn, he can't play for us, or they're pissed off at him in the locker room. That's the last thing you want. So you really work hard to gather all that intel that you can and make sure you've got the right makeup for your building.
Jenny Taft. Here we go. They break it all down. It's Draft Night Live, and it's brought to you by Express Pros and Weevil. Your NFL draft coverage is on Fox Sports Radio.
This is an exciting night.
This is Draft Night Live, brought to you by Express Pros and Weevil.
I'm just extremely grateful.
Back to Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Fox Sports host Jenny Taft.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is back. We got things started, guys. The Raiders pick is in. Take a listen.
With the first pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana, 6'5", 236 pounds.
No surprise, but it is official.
And that was the guy, look, David Bailey here also. You look at him like he's the most pure pass rusher in this draft. And look, people are talking about Arvell Reese. Everybody thought the Jets were going to go there. But the difference there is like Arvell Reese, you kind of need a defensive coordinator like a Dan Quinn did with Micah Parsons, like Jeff Hafley did with Micah Parsons. And the Jets are more of a pure front, that front seven. So Arvell, if you got to kind of almost create a position for him. David Bailey fits what they're going to do a lot more, right? And Stanford guy that went to Texas Tech, really smart guy, extremely smart guy, very, very clean. But man, he has like great power spin move from the inside, also really strong. When this process started, people going, was it Bain, was it Bailey, was it Arvell Reese? But again, he's the cleanest of all those guys.
He's the cleanest one, like you said, with Arvell Reese. what's the vision? Where exactly are we going to play him? Like, how are we going to utilize him? Which, if you get him in the right scheme with the right coach, it's going to go really well. Bailey, you just put him out there and rush. You put him out there and let him rush. He's a pure pass rusher. Like you said, the edge speed, the quickness, it's pretty. And what you love about him, he's no nonsense. I know we talk about him, LaVar, you've been knowing him, but he's out there. He doesn't even have any swag. He wears nothing on his arms. He's got this big baggy jersey.
Right.
When everybody's saying, look at me, this dude just goes out there and gets 20 sacks, pretty much 20 sacks this year.
I mean, it's a lot of production. His first step is explosive. His technique is sound. I look at it. Now,
violent.
He
Love the violence.
finishes out the ball. I won't get carried away and say there's just a big difference between him and Arvell, because what I'll say is, athletically speaking, where you'll see in
Arvell's a
Bailey,
ridiculous athlete, but he doesn't have a pure pass rushing position. He's like a real linebacker that you got to try and move all over the place.
Totally agree. But I'll just say both of them have linebacker roots and have transitioned to this now, what is considered to be a true edge. So I still would say, going into this, you still have to ask the question and answer the question, how many downs is David Bailey or Reese going to give you out there on the field?
Yeah,
with the size and the idea of how do you set an edge. I think they do a great job of it, but you won't know until you see them get into a game and have to deal with that.
It's a great point. I think he's going to be a DPR initially. Like, that's going to be the vision for him right away. He's going to come in. We're going to let him rush in sub packages.
Tell our fans what DPR is.
DPR, designated pass rusher. So he's going in to rush. You're not going to put him in on every downs. He's not ready to consistently set the edge, hold the point, do those things. But let's just let him rush in packages, build him up like that, and playing the run, all those things. He's going to grow. And I love what AG and Maugi are doing there. They're putting that culture together with the guys they brought in, bringing in David Onyemata and bringing in DeMario Davis. Like, they're setting that culture. They got 9 picks. They got a lot next year, so they can really start bringing in this talent.
I would like to get 3 downs out of a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 overall.
But if it's a pass rusher, it's fine.
Okay.
If you're a pass rusher,
see, that's the evolution of all of this. I'm coming from a very old man standpoint. If I'm gonna put that investment in him, I want to know that I can get some pass coverage out of him.
Look,
some run
first
fits
down,
on it.
If they come out in sub, then I'll put in the pass rusher. So we can put him in some on first down, depending on where it is.
Well, we need to at least make it official. We're talking about Bailey, but yes, the Jets make their number 2 pick with
the second pick. The New York Jets select David Bailey, edge, Texas Tech, 6'4", 250 pounds.
I mean, we already talked about it, but I had to at least get it in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
exciting.
look, again, then you look at the Arizona Cardinals, right? And all along, I thought the Arizona Cardinals were going to go Jeremiah Love, who we talk about. It's probably only about 4, you say, can't miss guys in this draft, right? I think the long-term vets, they're going to play for a long, long time. And character, player, everything. I think Love is one. I think Mendoza is one. I think Ione from Penn State is another one, right? And my other one, what was my 4? I had 4 of them in this draft, and now I can't remember because I've been hitting the head
Character
a lot.
guys?
No, just like overall. Man, these guys are going to be just studs for a long.
Sonny Styles.
Caleb Downs.
Caleb
right?
Downs.
Who,
okay.
like right away and forever
Makes
and ever.
sense.
But
Sonny
man,
Styles is a name to throw out.
listen.
There,
So you're going to have. Look, you're going to have. Cardinals, again, it hasn't been a secret with Love. I know what Jeremiah Love, the one thing they were thinking about was like, man, he's perfect, he's great, but to bring a running back in at the 3rd pick of the draft, and all of a sudden he's the 7th highest paid running back in the league. Something along those lines,
look,
right? But still, a great player is a great player, but go ahead.
Yeah, we took Bijan, and what you're doing here, what you're thinking about, if it's a running back, you don't take a running back in the top 10, got it. Bijan's not a running back. He's a dynamic offensive weapon. Jeremiah Love is not a running back. He is a dynamic offensive weapon. Get that dude the ball in any place, and he can take it the distance. He can hit the home run. He can run inside, and he's not little. He's over 6 foot. He's 212 or 215 or whatever, built like a sprinter, and he can go. He's a special player, and he's a special person. Like Bijan Robinson, the high character, you sleep well when you take guys like that. He's got that level of character. Right. Now, look, Tyler Algier, they signed Tyler Algier. They got James Conner. I did that to Tyler Algier too. Tyler Algier, he had in 2022, he rushed for over 1,000 yards, and we take Bijan, and now he comes in the room, and they're just doing it to my dog again.
By the way, you wanted to ask also again about these surprises that I have. I think the Giants have the first surprise of the draft. And I said something on TV the other day. I know somebody's on there. It's going to be a little splash. Okay. People thought I was talking about a trade, but I wasn't. Everybody has them. Caleb Downs, think they're going defense. I don't think that's the way they go. I still want to make sure he's on the clock here. But I think that's going to be the first shock you're going to have here. Tennessee's next, so I'll make sure they don't take them. But I think the Giants will end up being the first shock.
Okay, Jay, watching this guy work never stops. Let's make it official here. Cardinals pick is in. Jeremiah Love.
With the third pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame, 6 foot, 214 pounds.
I had the Cardinals taking him.
That's what I'm saying.
I had the Cardinals taking one of the pass rushers, taking Arvell Reese. So now I wondered, what does that do?
No, Love was always, everybody thought Love was going because he's just, look, this guy played gunner as a freshman, right? He's violent, like blocking wise. He looks to, engage in contact. People love this guy. Absolutely love him.
I love him and hate him, obviously, because he knocked us out of going to the national title with a bum knee too. He wasn't even fully healthy. He made some things happen. But again, I felt like Arizona could have used a pass rusher, like a game changer from the edge, and to go with a running back, which
he's not a running back.
It's so we're going to have to restructure the labeling of guys like him. Because they do exist. I mean, guys like, Shady McCoy comes to mind, obviously the Reggie Bushes of the world. But it's still curious that he would go.
A 3-down back. He's a
3-down back.
Well, Reggie wasn't, right.
Where you can't state or stress enough the value that position has been dramatically losing over the years. I mean, to know that there still are guys like that.
I said the first surprise would be the Giants. I think it's going to be the Titans.
Okay.
I think they're going to go wide receiver here.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a shocker.
I think that's going to go. Mm-hmm.
That is a shocker. I didn't have a receiver going this high.
This early?
Yep.
Who's the best receiver in your eyes?
Cardinal Tate.
I like Cardinal
Tate.
Tate.
Just got a text in there. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to end up going to Cardinal Tate.
That could be interesting.
So not Tyson out of Arizona State.
No. And I thought Tyson would be the first if the Giants went with him, but no, it's going to end up being Cardinal Tate in there.
Wow.
But the Giants, well, let's go back again.
Okay.
You guys talk about, you guys are talking about Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, we were. I was just talking about, again, the valuing of the position.
Yep.
I ultimately feel like it's funny coming into this year's draft, I made the comparison that linebacker is slipping slowly into off the ball. Linebackers are slipping slowly into that category as a position that was such a reverenced and well received and a need to have. We got to have that off the ball linebacker. It seems like they're losing some steam and momentum in terms of what the importance of them are, saying that, well, we can get a good linebacker later on. We don't have to necessarily invest an early pick in this guy, even if he's a special guy. I mean, it seems as though this is a good thing for running backs to have an all-purpose threat still representing that position come out this high in the draft.
And I understand what you're saying, and I think what it comes down to with some of these spots, like at linebacker, look in New Orleans, we signed Demario Davis as a free agent, and he becomes an all-pro player. We signed Caden Ellis in Atlanta. It's like linebackers, you can find them in other places, and then the positions that you have to draft are the positions that you can't get. You cannot get a pass rusher. Or, again, a guy like Bijan Robinson is never going to be a free agent. They are never going to let him get close to leaving out that building, and that's probably what's going to happen with Jeremiah Love too. So when you get those dynamic players like that, you got to hold on to them. And again, the linebacker position, you can find those guys in other areas.
I think this is interesting. Running backs drafted in the top 10 over the last 10 years. Jeremiah Love now, Ashton Genty, Bijan Robinson. I know we talked a lot about Bijan in 2023. 2018, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, 2017, Christian McCaffrey, and Ezekiel Elliott, 2016. So those are your guys.
Yep.
And they've all been difference makers in a way.
And I think and the main ones, Jenny, is when you look at the ones that Jay kind of said this earlier, when they have that third down value and when these guys are dynamic also in the pass game, that's what makes the differentiating factor because now they're so effective.
That versatility, so key.
Yep.
There you go.
Wow. All right, Jay.
Yep.
Jay Glazer.
So let me tell you what went into this. Look, let's hear the pick first.
Let's hear the pick
tell you
for the Titans.
What went into this?
With the fourth pick, the Tennessee Titans select Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State, 6'2", 192 pounds.
So
I love this. Tell me more.
In talking to people in Titans, even earlier today, like they've been going back and forth. And I think if David Bailey was there, would have jumped on him. Might have been a conversation with a running back, maybe not. But there are two things where we have two guys on defense we really like, the Ohio State guys, the Reese and Sonny Styles. But then Carnell Tate, they started talking to me about him a little bit this week, but a lot more today. Right, Terry? They were talking more about look. We had used the number one pick in the draft last year on a receiver. We need to start building around him. We got to give him these wideouts. And Carnell Tate is a guy that everybody looks at. And there's not a lot of concerns about him. I think people look at him and say, hey, is he more like a 15th pick in the draft normally and things like this. But, man, the guy's very productive. He's reliable. He's going to be a leader, and he's going to be able to help out a guy like Cam Ward. So that obviously kind of swayed.
Yep. The one thing you heard people a little bit talking about was the speed. He doesn't have the dynamic speed of a top five guy.
Yeah, that's what hurt him.
But what's special about him is you look at some of these guys that didn't have top speed, Devontae Adams, Reggie Wayne, they were mid 4.5 guys, but when they're as savvy as he is, the way he runs routes, the way he separates, extremely acrobatic, unbelievable ball skills, hands, the way he plucks it. And so he's a special player despite not having this elite top-tier speed. He's such a good football player, and those types of players make it in the league. I don't love the suit.
I kind of like it.
You like the little short?
Like?
Well, yeah, but you
like
would wear something like that.
Well, yeah, I would wear something like
that's
that.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm having.
That was a setup.
Jay wouldn't wear that.
I think Jay would rock that. No,
I'd rock it. Damn right I would.
He's been through a lot, and you see him hugging Ryan Day and that whole crew. And I remember obviously I covered him a lot at Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith is so special, right? We know how good he is. And then Carnell Tate was equally good. And I feel like he was almost that unsung hero in the offense. Like he didn't get enough love. I always tried to go into games with stories about him because he was that good and we were never talking about him and giving him that love. And now look at this.
And by the way, I told you with the Giants, a little surprised. And I say it's surprised because they have all these pass rushers. So you're thinking, now they're not going to go another pass rusher. Everybody had him with Caleb Downs. Everybody. Right? Thought it was Caleb, and then Sonny Styles. Mm-hmm. Nobody thought about the other Ohio State guy, and that's the other guy. Between him, they liked an offensive tackle also. They were thinking about that. They were thinking about Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, but they didn't think that Reese was going to be on the clock here. And again, it's like, I think the Giants look and go, hey, we won a Super Bowl with Strahan and those guys. We had 3 of those pass rushers, and OC and Justin Tuckey. You could never have enough of those pass rushers. And I talked to some of the guys in the Giants about it today. They didn't think he was going to be there, but I think that, again, for every mock draft you've seen so far with the Giants, it's been Downs, it's been, it's been Sonny Styles, and again, they're going to end up going the other Ohio State.
Well, speaking of players going pro, Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is presented by Express Pros. Facing production swings or a tough skills gap, Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals make hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster. Visit expresspros.com today.
Real quick here, too, I'm getting word that the Chiefs are trying to trade up here with the Browns. I know the Chiefs are looking earlier at pass rush help, at cornerback help. I'm told they are trying to work a trade now to move up if they can here with the Browns. Let me just continue this. But I believe that the Chiefs are trying to make a trade up, with the Browns, and that's going to end up being for the cornerback from LSU, top corner on the board, Delane. So we have our first trade. We have our first trade. It's not announced yet. First trade. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving up here with the Cleveland Browns so they can draft the top corner in the draft in Mansour Delane. And obviously they got, they traded Trent McDuffie to the Rams, so they needed that. And I know they've been talking to teams about moving up. I know they talked to a couple teams about moving back a little bit. Even talked with Dallas today about swapping out. But the Kansas City Chiefs are moving up to draft a cornerback, the top one on the board.
Great insight. Like that move?
They can use the help. Obviously, they lost a high-profile corner in free agency this offseason. So, yeah, I mean, it's an aging defense. I mean, you still have Patrick Mahomes. If he comes back healthy and can be what Pat was and return Patrick was and return back to that type of form, it's a dangerous team. They definitely have had a lot of assistance. Maybe stole the show from the main character from time to time with that defense and the way they've been able to scheme up opposing offenses and have the type of success that has led to them having the type of wins in those hard, tough games that they've had throughout the last couple seasons.
Yep. I love this pick, and I think it makes a lot of sense for them as they go in this direction because, like you said, they lost a couple corners. But then also, like, you want corners when you know you're going to score points. You're the Kansas City Chiefs. Once Patrick gets back, you're going to score points. So what do you need on the other side? Somebody that can take the ball away. This dude can take the ball away. It's one of the best things that he does. The way he stays in phase, but he can detach from receivers and pluck the ball. It's really special. Down the field is something that he's continuing to improve on, but underneath he makes so many plays on the ball. And you'll love this, Jay. He was a wrestler in high school. I mean, come on now.
Yep,
you got a
absolutely.
corner that's tough and scrappy and was a wrestler in high school.
No leverage, but embrace the grind, man.
No doubt.
Do all that work when no one's watching.
But clearly, he's the best corner in this draft. A lot of teams need corners, and there's some separation because of the injuries with the Tennessee corner. Like, he's clearly the top guy in the draft. He can take the ball away. It makes a lot of sense. I get it.
And the Chiefs still have the 29th pick to address other needs as well, too.
Brett Veach.
I don't know what the terms of this trade are.
Oh, okay.
Right. I don't know what the terms are. I just knew they were trading him. I knew who it was for.
So Brett actually said that when he was talking in his pre-draft presser, Brett Veach, that what you want to do is you want to go into the draft. We have all this draft capital, and we have the players we love. Let's figure out a way to get them. Whether we're moving up, whether we're moving back, we have a list of players that we want. Let's figure out a way to go get them. And I love that. I love that aggressive approach.
Aggressive. Makes sense.
I just think it's interesting. David Bailey is the only one off the board at that position. I would have thought Arvell would be gone by now.
Only because he's not that pure pass rusher.
It's unbelievable to me. That's a miss. I got to say, that's my miss so far.
So far.
If you didn't take him and you had the opportunity to take him, that's a miss. Because I think athletically speaking, and outside of if Bain had the athleticism in his body that Arvell has,
yep.
I go towards Bain and say don't worry about the arms. But the quick twitch I think is maybe a tad bit of a concern at the next level. But I still think he has like Dwight Freeney traits to me, like very comparable in that regard. Maybe has to figure out a signature move that way. But Arvell and Sonny Styles to me and David Bailey, there can't miss. These are, to me, on my board of looking at through the years. I think I got a pretty good track record of pass rushers, too, that I've been a part of. I think they are can't miss prospects coming out in the draft. I would have not thought that Arvell and at least Arvell would still be on the board.
So from the GM seat, and really I love Arvell. First of all, I love him. Ted Ginn Sr. has been texting me about him forever. He grew up in that area, went to school there. And I love this player, but in the GM seat, when you have a guy that doesn't fit the perfect prototype for a defensive end, size-wise, and he's not really an inside linebacker, then what you want to do, let's sit down and go through the vision. What are you doing with him on first and second down? What are you doing with him in sub? Let's go through the vision, and when that coach can give you a really exciting vision, which clearly the Giants, they had a clear vision for how they're going to use him. When they can do that, that's when you get really excited about a guy. And looking at them with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter.
You got to assume
and
Thibodeau.
Now him,
you got to think Thibodeau is out, right? Thibodeau's got to be out. There's got to be an odd man out, right?
Well, yeah, but again, he doesn't play that position yet.
If they don't,
if they don't play that position
if they're
yet,
keeping all of those guys.
Think about that NASCAR package, all four of them.
Hey, man, you have not seen anything.
You don't
like
even
this
need corners
since since LT and Harry Carson and Carl Banks. Like, that's what they've just did by signing.
But I'm not
this
saying
man.
they're not going to trade Thibodeau. I think they don't want to give him away.
Burns,
They don't want to give him away.
Reese, and Carter is nasty.
Yeah.
That's R-rated.
Look,
And the Giants.
You got to have a parent attend the
Yeah.
game with you to go see this defense now.
Yeah,
We've been talking about this guy. The Giants pick
R-rated.
is in.
It's R-rated, man.
With the 5th pick, the New York Giants select Arvell Reese, edge rusher, Ohio State, 6'4", 243 pounds.
LaVar's going to like
My
it.
apologies, because it just hit me like I was on the team that had Mike Strahan and O.C.
you were.
Umenyiora,
That's right.
Mathia Kiwanuka, and all those. That's the level of pass rushers and players that they have on this defense right now.
By the way, in that trade I talked about, they're not giving up their second one.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not giving
Thank
up
you for
second one.
clarifying.
I think it's a 3 and a 5. But I gotta get clarification on that.
I love this pick for New York.
It's exciting.
I would have liked for them to get him a weapon, get Dart a weapon on the outside, but let me tell you something.
They got the 10th pick. So right now, I know they are thinking about offense for that pick.
I'm a Giants fan,
Yep.
so this one got me excited.
Yeah, I saw you put your arms in the air.
Yeah,
You're liking it.
Well, because I threw out the old school cats. A lot of people listening probably won't remember the names I just threw out there. Oh, I remember LT play for the Chargers, but this group does have that type of feeling of you had the Justin Tuck who could be a defensive end, but move into the inside. You had the Mike Strahan who owned his side of the field. And then you had O.C. Umenyiora, like that group, that was what was the backbone of that team. Outside of what they had with the receivers, with Plex and with Eli, but the defense was the staple of why that team was so good. And it was the pass rushers that made it. So they're trying to, it seems as though they're trying to sink into that type of formula.
Harv's is a defense coach. Even look, he and I were talking earlier today about which way they're going to go, and he's like, "Don't forget, I'm a defensive coach.
That's a great point.
defensive
I'm
guy.
a defensive coach. I'm a defensive coach." And I said, "No, I hear you. I hear you."
It's his identity. All right. Well, Fox Sports Radio's Draft Night Live is brought to you by Webull. It's time to get your financial portfolio game ready. With Webull, get powerful investing tools and real-time data all in one platform. Get started by downloading the Webull app today or visiting Webull.com.
Webull Financial LLC, member SIPC FINRA. Investing involves risk. For more information, visit Webull.com/disclosures.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio. We'll be right back with the Chiefs pick.
I want to get into some draft stuff with Sims while Stu figures this out. Sims, I'm looking at your tiers, and I came across your wide receiver tier.
Yeah.
And not only did you have a surprise at number 1 in Denzel Boston, but there is an obvious omission in your top 3 tiers. I don't see Malachi Lemon on there. What happened there?
No, you don't see Casey Concepcion on there. You don't see Omar Cooper on there, right? I don't think they're first-round picks, really. They're only first-round picks in the modern-day NFL. The modern-day NFL, the last 5 to 6 years where we have gone this way of we're not going to take chances as much on guys in the first round. We're going to go with a guy that we just know can produce and be really good and help us out right away in year one. And then the GM doesn't get dragged for having a bust on the first round pick, right? So that's where I look at it. I don't again, out of the people, I don't know if anybody's like, oh my gosh, Mekhi Lemon, top 20 pick as far as pure physical talent. Now, what I would tell you, too, and what happens with receivers, and you guys have heard me say this before, it's, he makes me feel warm and cozy. Look at that USC emblem, and, he had a lot of catches and all that. But there's guys that are down the line that I would tell you that are more physically gifted than Malachi Lemon or Omar Cooper or Casey Concepcion. But they were at big schools, they played in big games, and they got to show that, and that makes evaluators feel good. So guy like Zachariah Branch from Georgia, really good. I think you put him in USC, and I know he was there at one time. I get that. But if he was on that team this year, you'd go, oh, my gosh, that's going to be a top 20 pick in the draft, no doubt. He's Jalen Waddle. I mean, so that's again, I like the player. I know he's going in the first round. He's in my first round mock. But for me, as far as on the field, pure physical talent, no, those guys don't blow me away that way.
Sims, it feels like the draft really starts with the Jets picking at 2 because everybody knows Mendoza's going 1 to Vegas.
Yeah.
Where are you at in the Reese-Bailey debate at 2?
Yeah, I would take Arvell Reese. I think Arvell Reese is the second best pure player in the draft. And I think Arvell Reese can be Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter. Now, I know you don't have all that evidence of rushing the passer, right? But I think if you took the top 10 pass rushes of Arvell Reese and put them against anybody, I'd go, they're the best in the draft. Nobody can do that right there. He's so explosive. Of course, he's raw. He needs work there. So there's a little bit of him back to our old conversation of the unknown, right? Ooh, I don't know. And this is, to me, where I want to be like, wait, we don't think the biggest, freakiest, the athletic guy in the draft can go on the edge and become an edge guy. I think we overanalyze that at times, but I can understand the Jets thinking about Bailey. Again, it's a big year for the Jets, the brass, the coaching staff, everybody, right? Their ass is on the hot seat, where Bailey can definitely contribute right away on the edge. Where Arvell Reese, I think you're going to have like a Micah Parsons thing. He plays middle linebacker. We put him on the edge a little bit, and we continue to grow that as we go along to maybe then year 2, it's mostly at edge and some middle linebacker. And then year 3, it's just all edge. And I feel like that's Arvell Reese, but the Jets might want somebody proven, true commodity right now. And I think that's probably where that argument is with the Jets at number 2, but I would take Arvell Reese.
Sims, how'd you feel about the trade of Dexter Lawrence from the Giants to the Bengals?
Well, I love Dexter Lawrence, and I didn't want it to really happen, but when you get the number 10 pick of the draft, you definitely take that. I mean, for a guy that's 28, going to be 29 in November.
Who doesn't want to be there, right?
And doesn't want to be there, exactly right. And I think they have concerns. They had concerns about his health last year. I think they didn't like the way he handled rehab and certain things. I've heard that his weight got a little out of control as well. And they got lucky here in the Bengals, who barely have an NFL starting defensive line. There's no D tackle worth taking at number 10. They were desperate, and they got that done. And now the Giants have a chance to, really have a chance to do something special. Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, all those guys are in the mix for the New York Giants right now. And as a Giant fan, that certainly excites me.
What would you want the Giants to do? What do you expect them to do with those 2 picks?
All right. Well, in my mock draft here, so I think that the Cardinals are going to take Jeremiah Love. That would be my 2 cents. It's Mike LaFleur. He's an offensive run game.
On Fox Sports Radio. Draft Night Live is on. Your teams, your picks.
Welcome to the 2026 NFL Draft. With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
I think he has an it factor. I get Andrew Luck vibes from Mendoza.
I see that.
With the second pick, the New York Jets select David Bailey.
It's a lot of production. His first step is explosive. His technique is sound.
With the third pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love.
He can run inside. He's not little. He's over 6 foot. He's 212 or 215 or whatever. Built like a sprinter, and he can go.
Everybody thought Love was gone because he's just, look, this guy played gunner as a freshman, right? He's violent, like blocking-wise. He looks to, engage in contact. People love this guy.
You're listening to Draft Night Live, presented by Express Pros and Weevil. Once again, here's Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Jenny Taft.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is back with insider Jay Glazer, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, College Football Hall of Famer LaVar Arrington. I'm Jenny Taft, and we are just getting this night started. Throughout the first round of the draft tonight, you can stream us live in the iHeart app by searching Fox Sports Radio, and be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as a preset in the iHeart app. And you can also watch us live on YouTube. Just search Fox Sports Radio on YouTube. That's Fox Sports Radio on YouTube to watch us right now. Hit the subscribe button and enjoy. How are we doing over there? Any more insight?
I'm sorry, plenty of insight over here. We told you again, Washington. I know they were going back and forth between Styles, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. If Reese was there, Reese obviously isn't. They're going to end up going Sonny Styles, and the New Orleans Saints will be on the clock. And the Saints have kind of, try to put out that they like pass rusher here, but also I know that they like wide receiver in this position also. And they had Jordan Tyson above Carnell Tate. So I think if he's there, they end up kind of being a little shocker here too and going wide receiver with Jordan Tyson.
You mentioned having Dan Quinn as a guy that could use a defensive player the right way because of his defensive prowess, right? This is, again, I say he's a for sure shot guy. It's a legacy pick. His dad played at a high level, played at Ohio State as well. I think he's a Fred Warner type guy. I can only imagine what type of impact he's going to have. We mentioned the whole idea of the middle backer position, off the ball position, maybe taking steps back in terms of value. But like you said about Jeremiah Love, there are those few linebackers out there that possess that multi-dimensional type of way of playing the game. They can cover, they can tackle, they can pass rush. That's Sonny Styles. He's a complete package.
And the only reason I didn't put him in that group before is because he's only had 1 year here. That linebacker, he's played safety.
He played safety.
So,
which is an Urlacher deal. Urlacher was a safety.
But Urlacher was
coming out.
268.
Yeah.
So and return punts. What better place for him to go, Sonny Styles, though, with Dan Quinn. To go learn with Dan Quinn, who's just such a great job. And even when he did it with Bobby Wagner last year, right?
Yep.
And Bobby did a great couple of years before going back to DQ, and he did. I think it's a perfect place for him to go with Dan Quinn.
All right, guys, the picks 56. Are in for 6 and 7. We're going to catch up here and have more time to react.
With the 6th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mansour Delane, corner, LSU, 6 foot, 187 pounds. With the 7th pick, the Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State, 6 foot 5, 243 pounds.
I have to admit, I do have favorites once in a while in college football. Sonny Styles was one of my favorites I've ever been around.
Tell us why.
He's such a good person on the field and off the field. He had so much involvement in the community, and I was just blown away by how he was as a brother, as he was as a son, his family. And you mentioned the position change, right? I've literally watched his body evolve throughout the years at Ohio State, and I always felt like he was this unsung hero, and I think he's going to be special.
I totally agree with you. And the draft is in Pittsburgh. I'm sure this is a special moment for him. His father played his ball at Farrell, PA, right maybe 45, 50 minutes away from where his son is getting drafted. It's got to be a great moment for not only Sonny, but for his father and their family. And I'm sure he's got a lot of support there. So I'm high on Sonny Styles.
And you said it.
Super high on him.
You called it earlier. I thought you said it perfect. It's great for Washington, is great for Sonny. Dan Quinn, when you go back to, you remember in 2021, why did Micah Parsons go where he did? A lot of people didn't have a clear vision for him, but Dan Quinn had a clear vision.
He could use this guy the same way if he wanted to.
So now he brings in Sonny Styles.
Indeed.
I think
we're going to go. We're going to get more Sonny later. He's that good. Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio. We'll be right back. 1 hour down, more to go.
We are
up? It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
You ready? Yes!
No pain, no gain, and I have dished out a lot of pain.
I played the game. The rules are still the same.
Hey, America, you want some sports? We got it for you.
Two Pros and a Cup of Joe is three guys talking sports, having some fun, and a great way to wake up in the morning.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stats for us to get through right now.
We're here to break it all down for you.
I always hear that defense wins championships, but LaVar, I can't help but notice that the W-2s for the quarterback look a lot higher.
That's because we're worth it.
You gotta be kidding.
It's just one of those shows that gives you that feeling of, I'm talking to my friend anywhere you may be, a sports bar, a living room. As different as we are, it works.
When he scores his first touchdown, what will the celebration be?
It might just be a spike.
Yes.
He's going to derobe first.
Jeez.
They set their wedding date on the day of the Super Bowl, and the groom's trying to move the wedding now to get out of it so he can go see the game. Is he in the wrong here?
Let that man use them tickets.
Unbelievable.
We're like those three best friends that grew up together.
We've developed a chemistry. In case you missed it, LA's finest, that's right, everybody's favorite. Apparently had a few too many drinks last night. This guy's got a little bit of an issue here, huh?
Call a taxi.
I hear he has a weird infatuation with elevator rides.
There we go.
We're three brothers and we look identical.
Oh, wow. Really?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Wrap it up, let's go.
My guys.
Yes! Two Pros.
And a Cup of Joe.
More sports, more fun.
Jenny Taft. Deliver the Pink Line Pink coverage.
Yeah, we're going to have breaking news here.
Fox Draft Night Live lives right here on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. From first things first in the herd to your sports teams, FS1 has what you need. To find FS1 on your television, visit foxsports.com for details.
I put myself in a position to be here, and it ain't over yet. I'm ready to get to work.
This is Draft Night Live, and it's all presented by Express Pros in Weebo.
Boy, this is really a dream come true.
Your teams, your picks.
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
I get Andrew Luck vibes from Mendoza.
I see that.
With the second pick, the New York Jets select David Bailey.
There's a lot of production. His first step is explosive.
With the third pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love. With the fourth pick, the Tennessee Titans select Carnell Tate.
Jeremiah Smith is so special, right? we know how good he is. And then Carnell Tate was equally good. And I feel like he was almost that unsung hero.
With the 5th overall pick, the New York Football Giants select Arvell Reese, linebacker from the Ohio State University.
I love this pick for New York.
That's exciting.
You're listening to Draft Night Live, presented by Express Pros and Weevil. Once again, here's Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Jenny Taft.
I'm over here getting emotional watching. Oh, these moments change lives. Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio with insider Jay Glazer, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, college football Hall of Famer LaVar Arrington. I'm Jenny Taft. We get to it. The pick is in for the Saints.
With the 8th pick, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State, 6'2", 203 pounds.
I mean, Jay told us this was coming, yes, but and you guys can make fun of me, but it hits you, right? Because these moments are changing lives, and seeing him hug his family and the tears, and I'm excited about his potential.
And the thing about him, look, the Giants even thought about him all the way up there at 5. They're going to select between him and a tackle, which would be Moaga from Miami at 10. Right now he's off the board. Jordan Tyson, probably the most talented receiver in this draft. He just had so many injuries. Right? But people talked about his skill set. But they even talked about like Justin Jefferson type skill set. I'm like, that's a bold statement to make. But again, he's had so many different injuries, and the concern for some teams were like, hey, how's he not going to get hurt when they're bigger, faster, stronger on this level? But that's where a lot of GMs kind of look at it, and they look at the upside, and there's just too big of an upside not to do that.
Yeah, and you know, Mickey's going to look at each individual injury and say, okay, is this something that a consistent soft tissue issue? Is this, or is this just some random things that he dealt with? But you look at him and the person, I know, Jenny, you're talking about it on the break, and you get emotional. His story is so cool with the family, the brother in the NBA. He talks about like he was like 140 pounds in high school, and he just played video games, and his brother got on his butt and said, we got to train. And so, but that the player, the skill set, the way he gets the ball in his hands, he is explosive, and he plays with a different temperament. That's what you love. Obviously, with his receiver coach, with Hines Ward, when you're coach, you're going to block, you're going to run, you're going to catch it in the middle, you're going to catch it in traffic. And we've seen another team with a young quarterback already. Let's go get him another weapon. And they're going to love him down in the Bayou in New Orleans. He's that type of player. So it's going to be fun to watch.
It's cool seeing his emotions, because one of my notes on him was he runs every route like it's his last route.
That's it. Yep.
And you get a guy who does that, then you don't know if he's getting the ball or if he isn't, and that makes him a much more valuable weapon even when he's not getting targets. I like the fact that it means something to him.
Yep.
And so that's the first thing that I'm looking at, is that he's excited about being drafted. He's excited about the moment that he's having. But just looking at him as a player, I mean, again, he runs great routes, great size, very nice size for a receiver. So to run routes the way that he does with that type of athleticism, with that type of size, there's going to be a lot of matchup problems that you're assuming you're going to have to roll a safety over. It's going to have to be bracketed or double coverages that are on him. That's going to open up opportunities for the rest of this New Orleans offense that is going to have some growing and some building to do for this upcoming season.
Yep. His superpower is his ability to create separation. And so when you can do that with a young quarterback, you can always trust him and be where he's supposed to be. And again, it's a tone setter. Whenever you got a receiver throwing his body around and blocking and competing like that, again, a coach like Hines Ward, when you do that, then those other players better follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, also they're all in on Taylor Shook, right? Tyler Shook, they love him over there. They think they got their future over there, so then you got to start building around him. Got to start giving him weapons.
It's a great point.
It's a nice place to start. That is a nice player to start, Jordan Tyson.
Well,
very nice.
Our pick is in for the Browns. Let's take a listen.
With the 9th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah, 6'6", 311 pounds.
I love the pick. I think he's the most athletic offensive lineman on the board from my estimation of it. Great size, and
he was the cleanest of tackles.
I tell you what, he does so much in terms of what he brings to the table. He doesn't block. He erases guys, man. He's a pretty athletic guy.
Where are you going with this? All right,
he's able to get to the guys. He's able to set edges. Even in a day and age where the defenders are so much more athletic, you see this guy getting out there and actually getting reach blocks, which is that is very, very difficult to do in today's football game. So I think this is a great pick for the Browns. Obviously, whoever they're going to have at quarterback, they're going to have to be able to protect that guy. They didn't do the best of jobs of doing that this past season.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Exceptional athlete. I mean, rare movement skills for a guy, the way he moves around. One thing he got dinged on a little bit is the arm length, but this guy can play all 5 positions, and that's, I think, why you heard people talking about projecting him to guard and those things. Does he have enough length? But his feet, his athleticism, the way he erases people in pass protection, he gets downfield. He's a violent, competitive, physical player. So this has got to be exciting for them. And look, we talked about with this offensive line, there's a lot of boards that might have had somebody else at the top and different. What's your flavor and what do you want? There's a lot of good linemen, but who knows which one's going first. But this is the one that they coveted, and I agree he's the most athletic offensive lineman.
I remember Kyle Whittingham telling me at Utah last year, one of the best linemen he has ever had. So some high praise from legendary coach that I will be seeing at Michigan a lot next year. All right, the Giants.
And I think you're going to have a run offensive lineman right now. I know
it's a run.
The Giants, again, they're going to take tackle. I know the Dolphins, they were looking at best available too. I know they talked to me about Caden Proctor, and but also guys like Ruben Bay and stuff like. But I think when you see other tackles go, I think the Dolphins would probably follow suit there also. I wouldn't be surprised if they go tackle. And then, Dallas Cowboys, they're kind of sitting pretty here with a couple of these guys like Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain sitting over there that could be available to them. But you know what? Hold on. Dallas Cowboys, they're going to trade the pick to. They're trading. Hold on. Hold on. Dallas traded for the Miami pick. They are taking Downs. So Dallas Cowboys are moving up to the Miami Dolphins. They're taking Downs. Okay. Miami then will move back. Okay. And then they're going to take Proctor. There we go. So we have a trade that's coming in. Dallas Cowboys are moving up to get Caleb Downs. And look, and I talked to them. They told me that if one of those Ohio State guys are still there, any of them, they were trying to move up a couple, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to end up moving up here. They're going to trade with Miami to take Caleb Downs.
Let's get pick number 10 in.
With the 10th pick, the New York Giants select Francis Mauigoa, tackle, Miami, 6'6", 329 pounds.
Mauigoa. That move.
2 sacks allowed in 2 seasons. That's not protection. That's an insurance policy.
Hey guys, let me tell you this, dude. The Dallas Cowboys are going to come up here. All right, they're going to make that. The Miami Dolphins will make that pick also. All right, and then I just want to get confirmation here because we're going to have a big shot coming up here as well. I just want to get confirmation that that's what's happening, and I can tease it a little bit here, and then let it loose a little bit.
There's no potential Bain. It's got to be Caleb Downs.
That's who Dallas is trading up for.
For Downs,
yes.
That's for certain.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
I'm with you. You know it's either one of them.
Yeah.
Like you got these 2 top-tier defensive players. Which one do they want, the rusher? Do they want the safety?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
But I will say Caleb Downs gives me that Earl Thomas vibe. Like he has that, and maybe a 2.0 version as good as Earl was, which I think he's a Hall of Famer. Caleb Downs brings that type of ilk to the table with the way he plays. He has a tenacity about him. But the one thing that I saw that was continuously highlighted about him was his study habits and how deeply he threw himself into understanding the tendencies and the personalities and the characteristics of the offenses that he was playing against, and it played out. You could see it in his production out there on the field.
I love him so much. Again, it's me and Jenny were talking about this before the show. I know she knows those Ohio State guys well. This is one of my favorite players in the draft. Got to watch him play in high school. He played at Mill Creek around the corner, watched him play against Buford, and I swear the dude made every play. I couldn't tell if he was playing linebacker or safety because he made every tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He made a play on every ball. He was running the football. He's returning kicks and punts. He is unbelievable. And like you said, the player that he is, he's an even better person.
Yes.
I mean, you talk to him when he's 18 years old, and you feel like you're talking to Jesse Bates, like in terms of the intelligence, the maturity. He is a special, special player. And those kind of guys, he's so versatile as a safety, but when you're a force multiplier, like Jesse Bates, and he's a force multiplier. You're making people around you better. You're bringing culture, all those things. So I love this pick for Dallas. I'd have been the same way. Like I was when you love a guy, go get him.
Yeah.
I don't care what you have to give up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And I'm sure that D coordinator was like, get Caleb Downs in this building.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Swiss Army knife is one of those sayings we sometimes
It's a good one.
overuse, but
That's
I
a good
truly
one.
believe that is the way to describe him. He can do it all. You know, the coaches would rave about him. Matt Patricia, last year with Ohio State, just blown away by what he could do. And I remember this story about Caleb. I had this picture of him from when he was playing youth football. He was so serious, and his friends and his teammates and his parents would say, just relax, like it's football, it should be fun. He's like, this isn't fun, this is my passion. Like he has this intensity that's hard to match, and I love that from him, but he's going to be fun to watch.
Could be a unit changer. Has that type of potential. I mean, there's not very many times that there has to be a certain position, like generally speaking, you'll get it from a middle backer. But every once in a while, when you get that dominant type of personality, like an Ed Reed or, like a Earl Thomas, those types of guys that bring that level of leadership, a Brian Dawkins type, right? That's what I get from Caleb. And
you're saying all my favorite players. Man.
How about it, man? How about it? Well, because
but it's true.
You're a Midwest guy, so is that we're tooth chippers. We don't really get it. It's real. Like Caleb Downs said, it's real out here. That's my passion, and I want to make sure that I leave people with an experience when we play. I don't want you to just know we played against each other. I want you to have an experience that, hey, I remember his name. That's Caleb Downs.
We're going to remember his name. Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio. We'll be right back with the 11th pick.
Giants were able to get the number 10 overall pick for Dexter Lawrence in trading him to the Bengals, who then in turn signed him to a 1-year, $28 million extension. Are you surprised?
Why are you shocked?
It's a top 10 pick. You're giving up a top 10 pick for a guy who is coming off, the worst season of his career, but also a guy who's 28, I believe.
Yeah.
So it feels like, and maybe the only thing I can think of is maybe the Bengals are feeling the heat a little bit. Like we need established talent now because, we want to show Joe Burrow like we're serious about this thing. But if that's the case, the runaround with Trey Hendrickson that went on for as long as it did, and then they get aggressive like this with Dexter Lawrence, I just wonder why give up a top 10 pick to go acquire a guy who, you signed him to a 1-year extension, but I don't know that anybody looks at that move and says all of a sudden the Bengals are that much better and that much more of a threat in the AFC.
I disagree with that. I think
too.
a lot of people, they see an interior defensive lineman and they don't see the value that they create. Basically, since Aaron Donald retired in 2024, no one's been double-teamed more than Dexter Lawrence. So he's still been incredibly productive with the exception of last year. A lot of people will look at the box score and say sacks. Like, he had 9 sacks in 2024. He didn't have as many in 2025. Barely had any. The truth of the matter is, go watch the tape of that defense with Dexter Lawrence, without him. Go watch the pressure rate. Go watch how many times he's fighting through double teams to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
That's the key.
Yeah, he's as impactful of a player since Aaron Donald's left as there has been in the interior of a defense. So I think what you just said about the Bengals is without a doubt the truth. And I'll continue to keep saying this only because I know Bengal fans hate this, and I don't have anything against the Bengals, by the way. This is just the history of your franchise. I didn't think Carson Palmer would end up somewhere else. He did. I don't know if Joe Burrow will end up somewhere else or not. But it's happened before to you with the franchise quarterback. So you have to be concerned about it. Clearly, they're doing the best they can to replace what they lost in Hendrickson, but he ends up moving on to a divisional rival. So you got to see him twice a year. But the point is, they are going all in on this window right now while they do have what they have on this roster. And so I do think this will be a big help to their defense. Despite the downtick in sack production, Dexter Lawrence was still very much impactful, rushing the passer, fighting through double teams, creating more one-on-one opportunities for other guys up front. So I like this signing. I think the other thing you have to keep in mind is this is viewed as a down draft. There's a lot of guys who only view, a handful of guys are really true difference makers. And maybe the Bengals are looking saying, we'd like to move back. We can't. Why not get a guy that we feel like really good about for the next 2 years in this window to come in and be a contributor, be a starter, be a guy that we can hang our hat on defense?
I'll just add to it. That percentage of times that he's doubled that you're speaking of is above 70%. It's 72.7% of the time during pass rushes he's being double teamed, which means you're getting one-on-ones with your edges. And so that is, again, that is tremendous because edges have become so important. So if you see the production from a Burns or from an Abdul Carter, you're seeing those things, Thibodeau, you're seeing those things because of the impact of a Dexter Lawrence. Those interior linemen, you can get away with doing one more contract with a guy at 27 years old. He will still be effective for the next perceivably 4 to 5 years, maybe even 6 to 7 at that position, barring any type of crazy setbacks injury-wise. And then you think about this. Give Cincinnati credit for trying to do better. They're largely considered one of the most, if not the most conservative franchises in league history. This is actually the first time they've ever given up a top 10 pick to be able to land a free agent. So give them credit, man. I wouldn't be critical of the move. I would say this is a step in the right direction. I mean, you think about it, this is the first time they've done this in the modern draft era, and that's since 1966. That's a long ass time.
Famer and former number 2 overall pick LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Fox Sports host Jenny Taft deliver the pick-by-pick coverage. You ready? Fox Draft Night Live lives right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is back. Jay Glazer, the best of the best. He's got some news for us.
All right. So I told you earlier there's going to be a little shakeup here in the middle of the first round here, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. With the 13th pick of the draft, they're going to go Ty Simpson, quarterback from Alabama.
Wow.
And I've been saying all along Ty Simpson was going to go in this first round. But today, actually, Sean McVay went and told Matthew Stafford and said, this is not to push you out. This is, hey, if we can get a franchise quarterback or a guy, I know because you're year to year, if we can get that guy to fill in whenever you decide that last year, that's what we're going to do.
That's what he did with Jay.
But it was true.
Yeah,
so like, Matthew, you want to go 3-4 years, of course.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it's every year you go year to year. But he also didn't see that there were other guys involved here. that were that could really break their starting lineup. So, look, I know early on, Les Snead put it on Sean McVay's plate, and that was one of the first guys that they actually looked at together. But he ended up really liking, Ty Simpson. I know that's a big shock here for everybody because people are saying, "Oh, is he going to be a first rounder?" I don't think anybody had him going on the 13th pick of the draft. And again, Sean McVay shared it with Matthew Stafford today.
Wow. I didn't have him in the first round.
It's the perfect situation. If you think about him, if you ding him, you're going to say, okay, he only started for 1 year. So he needs to be in a situation where he's going to sit behind somebody for a period of time. And if you want to see if evaluate a quarterback, you don't think Sean McVay knows how to do that. So he has that vision for him and is excited about him. Take him now. Let him learn behind one of the best, however long that period of time is. And look, I've been in that situation. Like, if you believe in a quarterback, if you believe in a player, believe he can be the future, take him. Don't second guess it, because if you pass him up a year from now, 2 years from now, you need a quarterback and he's lighting people up and you say, man, we could have done it. And the way as good of a team as the Rams are, they usually don't get opportunities to pick at 13. They don't think they're going to be in position to do it. So you believe in them, go get them right now. I love it.
Great stuff, Jay. That's so interesting to me. Ty Simpson. Big news. Only those 15 career starts, so he'll have that time to learn and grow. And
Absolutely.
I think that's crucial for his success.
Somebody gets to do a victory lap, huh? There's somebody out there that has done coverage of Ty Simpson, took a lot of heat. Maybe he gets to do a victory lap now, because I didn't see him going this high. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see that taking place. But, yeah, like you said, when you explain it that way, bring a guy into a situation. Now, granted, again, the starter in Stafford has to be okay with this, or it becomes an uncomfortable situation, right? You don't want it to turn into a cannibalizing of sorts of the situation. You don't want a guy to come in and have to kind of try to endure that. I mean, it could not possibly potentially not, develop well. It could stunt the growth. And I've seen that take place where a vet could actually have a toxic relationship with that younger guy. So it doesn't seem like Matthew Stafford is that type of guy. But with that being said, it could be something to watch for if they just alerted Matthew Stafford to the fact that they spent such a high pick on a draft quarterback.
Love the breaking news, but we also have to get to the Dolphins. Their pick is in.
With the 12th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama, 6'7", 352 pounds.
6'7", 352.
Put him out at receiver, put him running back.
Receiver. Right? They throw him passes. They play him at the Wildcat quarterback. I mean, this guy's an exceptional athlete. He trains with Duke Merriweather, and I was talking to him earlier, and he said the most special thing about him, he's a special athlete, but he's a tough, gritty, competitive guy as well. I mean, he displaces people. Like you talked about earlier, he erases people.
A racer.
He's young. He's only 20 years old. So when you got a guy with this size, those kind of movement skills, that kind of athleticism, that is really exciting. Like, he's going to be – this is a cornerstone player that they draft, and it's the perfect – what Miami's doing it the right way, right? They're tearing it down to the studs. Don't waste time. Look, I've been in that situation. I get to Atlanta, and we're trying to straddle the fence. Let's transition. No, tear it down to the studs. Let's start fresh, and your first pick, let's go get this big animal. God didn't make many of these on the planet that are that big and move like that.
No.
When you're watching them on TV and seeing them in that suit, and I know what you're like, God dang.
Full moon, man.
Dude.
Full moon. His back is breaking out of the back of his jacket. His pants is going to be ripped up, and he's probably going to turn green. I mean, it's just that's what you're going to see. Come on, man. Come on, man. You see that coming out of the locker room. Good for the Dolphins for doing this. They bring in Malik Willis, obviously post Tua era, starting there to show that you are building it, as you mentioned, from the bolts.
Yes.
Like, you bring in an anchor like that, you're saying we mean business. And there's the strong potential that the statement is we want to see Malik Willis succeed, not be a bridge quarterback, but actually succeed as the guy that's going to lead this team at that position. So, hey, good move. I think it's exciting. A great move for them.
And the other thing about him is they could take another offensive lineman because he could play any of the four positions. He can play guard as well because he's that athletic, that powerful. So you can put him at guard or tackle, do whatever you want with him. Again, throw him in as a Wildcat quarterback. Like, I mean, this is exciting.
Do it all. Well, speaking of players going pro, Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is presented by Express Pros. Facing production swings or tough skills gap, workforce solutions from Express Employment Professionals make hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster. Visit expresspros.com today.
Well, I'll say this. I'll jump in there because I didn't know if we were going to have.
Oh, I thought you were laying out for a pick.
Yeah,
That's why.
I didn't know we were having any sound. But I will say, if we're going back to the conversation of Ty Simpson, which I guess it's coming in shortly. I think this is a tremendous coup. It's a tremendous coup of a pick because if we're being honest, they're probably the teams that don't take them. If they're gonna admit it, it might be because it's hard to justify the pick, and so LA doing this and doing it in the way that they are, the fashion and the form of which they're doing it, that's tremendous. You have put yourself in such a move of positional power, like a Green Bay Packers type of move with the pick that you're selecting. So I'll say this was a very talented Rams team. If Puka gets tightened up this offseason and doesn't bring any type of baggage with him into this upcoming season, I would think that they want to add another, which I would have thought there would be the potential of adding a receiver on the edge, on the outside with this high of a pick, but they must feel comfortable enough with what they have picks-wise and what they've done and what they already have to make a selection like this.
So I was in New Orleans. This is 2017, all right? And I know everybody says it after the fact that they love Patrick Mahomes, but Sean Payton was obsessed with this Texas Tech quarterback, and we were taking him. We were taking Patrick Mahomes we were the 11th pick, I want to say, and we were taking him. He was at the top of our board. And ironically, Drew Brees, he's never been up to the draft room on draft day. He just happened to be playing golf or hunting with some buddies or something, and he texted Sean and Mickey and said, hey, I'm going to come by the draft room right before we're about to take Patrick Mahomes. So it's super ironic. He's standing in the corner. And so, but we were doing that for whatever reason. Kansas City figured it out, and they jumped us and took them.
Wow.
And we ended up taking Marshawn Lattimore and ended up being an exceptional draft. We took AK, Alvin Kamara. We had a really good draft, but we were taking him. Drew was in his prime. Right. But, again, Sean Payton, he believed in the player, and he saw something in him that – because everybody wasn't that –
which could have tremendously altered Drew Brees' career or Patrick Mahomes'. Right. It could have easily gone either way, right?
Right.
That's the chance you take.
Yes. It makes it really easy when you believe, again, if you're Les Snead sitting in your office and Sean McVay says, I love this player, I want to take him, it makes it easy. It's easy for Mickey Loomis when Sean Payton says, I love this quarterback, I want to take him. When you have, when you have offensive minds like that and they want to go get a guy, because look, if you don't have one, nothing else matters. I've been in that position. When you don't have a quarterback, nothing else matters. So if you believe in a guy.
You tried.
I tried.
You tried.
I tried.
And I'll tell you this about Simpson. The reason, look, I was saying all along, I think he's going to win the first round because it was explained to me, not by Sean, but other people. It said it kind of almost didn't get a really good proper, let's say, draft grade, if you will, because of his surrounding cast. Where at Alabama, they're normally loaded up. Mm-hmm. And somebody said, if you put Ty Simpson in Indiana this year, we'd be talking about him as the first pick. If you put Mendoza at Alabama, we wouldn't be talking about that. So people love what the upside is. I know he's smaller, but he is, like, I know, what the Rams thought. Les Snead was in on him way early during this season. I know he brought it to Sean McVay very early. It's one of the first guys they actually watched together. And as time went on, he just liked more and more and more what he saw. But again, they didn't look at anybody like, somebody else could really break our roster right now and help us right now. So at least we have, because, I even, today when I heard it, I was like, hey, what about next year's draft being so great? He's like, well, we don't know that. We're not sure, and they were just, he was pretty sold today. And today was when I found it out.
Let's make it official for the Rams.
With the 13th pick The Los Angeles Rams select Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama, 6'1", 211 pounds.
Yeah, I like that example, Jay, just about flop him with Fernando. And we'd be talking about him in a different way. So I think that's exciting to see.
And then he had an injury later. You know, first 9 games, he is like tearing it up. Then he got kind of beat up. And so the end of kind of had a little dip at the end of the season. But, man, he was rolling early on.
Analyst made the bold proclamation that Ty Simpson was just as good, if not better, than Fernando Mendoza. Somebody said it, different network, 4 letters. People came after him.
Oh, yeah, Orlovsky got killed this weekend. He's going to look great. Yeah. He's going to look great.
He gets to take his victory lap. And there's the potential, for now, there's the potential of there being some greatness ahead of Ty Simpson. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't disappear within the next 2 to 3 years, but I think he is in a very advantageous position. And being picked at number 14 definitely says that there's a belief in what his ceiling is and what his potential is to take him so early to sit and wait, which, by the way, was mentioned about Mendoza. If you recall the reports that were coming out, they too said this is the reason why we've brought Kirk Cousins into Las Vegas, is so that just in case we need to give Fernando a little bit of time to develop, adjust, and adapt to being a pro and what this looks like, the speed of the game. You don't want to try to ruin him early if you don't feel like he's all the way ready. You bring in an insurance policy and Kirk Cousins. They can compete for it and see where it goes from there. So it's not a foreign conversation to say you have 2 starting caliber quarterbacks that are in the quarterback room. It's like that in Cleveland as well, with what they have going on there with their quarterback situation. So I think it's a great pick for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, it's better to have 2 than none at the end of the day at that position, because if you don't have one, then nothing else matters.
Tell you what, you get to when you get to be a backup quarterback, they say it's the best position to have.
But also you got to look at it too and go, hey, I know Matthew Stafford's been, right now kind of year to year.
His back came in with back
questions. But also you may look at this like, all right, you guys brought somebody else in. All right, I know he's MVP this year, but it may energize him even more.
Yeah.
Because he's a competitive dude, right? You don't know. It may elongate his career. And again, I don't know how long Matthew's going to go. And that was always – when they talked to him, it was like, hey, however long that is for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to have the conversation now in a real way, right? Yeah. You don't get to have that conversation like you don't have anybody else.
Well, look, with the Packers, when they took Jordan Love, they didn't tell Aaron Rodgers first.
Right.
And it really fractured them, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's a great example of what it can do.
Yep.
How about this one?
Come on, Vega.
Are you kidding me?
That's a grown man.
Pick is in for Baltimore.
With the 14th pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Vega Ioane, guard, Penn State, 6'4", 323 pounds.
All right, LaVar.
I mean,
about your guy.
Obviously it's exciting because he's one of my alums and Letterman brethren, but Vega is one of those types of guys. He's like a Panay Sewell, if you ask me. He's nasty. He unloads at the point of attack. He fights for every inch, and that's the type of guy that you want to have along your line of scrimmage, a guy that's going to meet the physicality of what's going to take place in the trenches and bring that type of intensity back to it. So obviously he's going to be good in the run, but he's also going to be effective in the pass. So having Lamar Jackson and having Derrick Henry and adding him, I think this is a great move because obviously they lost their perennial guy at center. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they did lose their center to Linderbaum. Right, they lost him to free agency. So this is a good bounce back to bring in Vega.
Yeah,
very nice pick.
I
for
love
them.
the pick and put him next to
nice.
Ronnie Stanley over there. Absolutely. And then look, I think right now also you have a couple picks here. Tampa was looking at. All along, they were kind of in on Mesidor, but Reuben Bain's sitting right there. They were not expecting that, right? So I think
they might have
I know
took
where
him.
they have him, and I think they are going to end up taking him also. And then after that, the New York Jets, they're on the clock, and I know they're kind of looking at, hey, some of these offensive linemen, but they like the ones that are high. But also look for them to look at Sadiq, the tight end. He's maybe the only tight end in this draft in this first round. But I know just from people I talked to that he was going to be really high up. They were never thinking about Simpson.
Was going to take him.
But I know that, and I think they were looking at him and the linemen. But I think when Baltimore obviously didn't. Yes. And Tampa, who was also thought to maybe look at him as well, I think the Jets look at Sadiq also.
He's a steal at this point now. You get Sadiq at this point at that position. He's that new breed, new 2.0 tight end. They're receivers with tight end bodies. So they're too athletic for linebackers and safeties, but they're too big and too strong for corners. So it's a matchup problem. These are the type of guys that are, really, really, the Kittles, the Kelsey, there's the Dallas Goedert. There's a flunk of names you could throw out there at that tight end's position where you say this style, that came in with Dallas Clark and all of those guys, the receiving style tight end. He's got a more freakish body really than all of those guys, honestly. Yep. But has the same type of athletic ability, bringing that to the table. That's that to me. I feel like at this point in the draft, he is a steal pick for whoever takes him.
Yeah, you get him in the right building. You want to have, again, one of those offensive minds that's going to know how they're going to deploy him, how they're going to use him.
I think that's where the Jets end up going with their pick, who's coming up after.
That's loading up. The Jets are loading up through the draft. And
is this moving faster now that the time has gone down?
Absolutely.
Yeah, super fast.
From 10 minutes to 8 minutes, I feel like it feels different.
Super fast.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's moving.
It's crazy how sometimes the rich get richer. I mean, for Baltimore, and they asked Eric DeCosta about the O-line position, and he said, Vega's right out of central casting. He's a guard. He's exactly what you want. And for him to fall
Mauler,
right to him,
absolute Mauler, road grader.
You better go around him. Don't try to go through his elite.
And you got to go a long way to go around him.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt. And how about that story? So y'all know his story. He's got like 9 kids in his family or whatever. Mom wouldn't let him play football, so he snuck on the football team when he's like a sophomore in high school, first time playing, because he had been playing other sports. And the family, I guess, counting at the dinner table, and they're like, we're 1 kid short. And they realize he's been at football practice. And then he's killing people, and now all of a sudden he's become what he's become. So special player. That's a cool pick for them.
I love that story. Well, throughout the first round of the draft tonight, you can stream us live in the iHeart app by searching Fox Sports Radio, and be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as a preset in the iHeart app. And you can also watch us live on YouTube. Just search Fox Sports Radio on YouTube. That's Fox Sports Radio on YouTube. To watch us right now, hit the subscribe button and enjoy. We'll be right back.
I think for people like Fernando Mendoza, granted, number 1, Raiders, we get all that. One of the biggest names in the draft, if not the biggest name. He doesn't come from a small family of 5, and that's it. Rich, you had no cousins growing up. None. Zilch. 0. That's truth. That's real talk. Not only is he close with his intimate family, his mom and his brother and his dad, this guy has 800 extended Mendoza relatives.
Don't act like he knows them.
They have family reunions. I'm not making that up. I swear to you. So I ask you, Fox Sports Radio Nation, if you come from a proud Cuban family and they're all in that Miami area and they're all pumped about their little Fernando, and you're real close to your mom and your family who've done everything for you, you don't think there's a nice side to the story where he chooses the unpopular, I'm going to Pittsburgh, I'd rather stay with my family in Miami?
Sam,
that's a beautiful thing.
Sam,
honestly, I would do that. That's wonderful.
Oh,
Fernando,
damn,
you're my guy.
Ooh.
I back him up. I would do the same thing. You know why? Call me a big mama's boy. It's the right thing to do.
Mama's boy?
Yeah, it's the right thing to do.
I'll call you mama's boy. Your mom did your laundry until you were almost 30.
Fine. You know
and
what?
And you said it was,
I
and you
love
said
and respect and honor her every day.
I have a question. Is it true your mom folded your underwear until you were almost 30?
It was her pleasure, bro. She used to tell me.
It's my pleasure,
That's
Steven.
right. It was her pleasure.
Your stained boxer briefs.
That's right. It's her
Disgusting.
pleasure. But you know what? Fernando Mendoza is a good kid. The story makes sense.
No one's
he
doubting.
wants to spend that time with who's more important, his family or the random mustache-having fans of Pittsburgh? Get out of here.
I have the answer to that, but Sam, can you hit me up with some?
But how do you
ABBA?
not see that there could be two ways to look at this?
But there's not though. We haven't heard some ABBA in a second. Fernando talk has been low on the show. While you queue up some ABBA, let me tell you that Fernando Mendoza not going to Pittsburgh to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft, walk through that tunnel, that sponsored tunnel where there's lights and cameras.
Yeah, that's a lot of shine for people that are really looking for it. He doesn't need all that.
Bro, you gonna let me talk? Or you gonna interrupt every sentence? Just because you're a mama's boy and you want to, you go home
because
your
I
mom
feel
will
like
make your mom make you chicken cutlets.
How could you not see the flip side to this?
Because there is no flip side.
There is. Family's everything.
He's entering the
He'd
NFL.
be nothing if it wasn't for his family.
He cried and thanked his mom with the Heisman. It was beautiful. His mom, his mom and dad and some family members could go to the NFL draft. You know this, right? It's not like they're banned.
Yeah, but he rolls deep. That's my point. He has a lot of family. It's not just 4 or 5 people. He has a lot of family. He's a Cuban kid in Miami. They're all over the place out there. Your thoughts, 877-99 on Fox. It's a big story today.
It's a terrible decision. And you know what the NFL's thinking right now? Oh, this is awful, you boneheaded kid. We get it. You love your family. Accommodate the mom, accommodate the dad, and you know they would. He's going to be the #1 pick.
Danny G, you're a Raiders fan. Is this upsetting to you?
No, I mean, I feel like, hang on, Rich. I know you're on your 3rd refresher over there. It is difficult, and I've read this before, that it's difficult for Fernando Mendoza's mom to travel, so you got to keep that in mind.
Yes. First class. Do whatever they need to do. It's like going to see you know what it's like? It's like I can't even think of a good enough analogy. It would be like going to the Oscars, right? And let's say Timothée Chalamet's up for every award, and he's like, I'm just going to sit this one out.
Yeah, I get that. And for the fans, this is going to be, not as fun of a night as maybe they imagined, because I imagined him with Roger Goodell holding up the Raider jersey.
And that's what everyone thinks. And it's a moment, hugging the commissioner, walking through the tunnel, folding the brim of the hat before he puts it on. This is part of his story.
For those of you who might not know, his mom has MS. She has multiple sclerosis. It's a big part of the story. I'm not sure that.
Deliver the pick-by-pick coverage.
This is an exciting night.
Fox Draft Night Live lives right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to prime time.
You're listening to Draft Night Live. Ready? And it's all presented by Express Pros and Weebo. When the picks go down, we have the insight you need.
So I told you earlier, there's going to be a little shake-up here in the middle of the first round here, and that is the Los Angeles Rams, 13th pick of the draft. We're going to go Ty Simpson, quarterback from Alabama, and I've been saying all along Ty Simpson was going to go in this first round. But today, actually, Sean McVay went and told Matthew Stafford.
With the 13th pick, the Los Angeles Rams select Ty Simpson.
The starter in Stafford has to be okay with this, or it becomes an uncomfortable situation, right? You don't want it to turn into a cannibalizing of sorts.
Look, I've been in that situation.
Like, if you believe in a quarterback, if you believe in a player, believe he can be the future, take him.
This is Draft Night Live, brought to you by Express Pros in Webull. Back to Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Draft Night Live's host, Jenny Taft.
Fox Sports Radio's Draft Night Live is brought to you by Webull. It's time to get your financial portfolio game ready with Webull. Get powerful investing tools and real-time data all in one platform. Get started by downloading the Webull app today or visiting Webull.com.
Webull Financial LLC, member SIPC FINRA. Investing involves risk. For more information, visit Webull.com/disclosures.
We stepped aside for a couple minutes. We got some picks to get to for the Bucs, for the Jets. Let's take a listen.
With the 15th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Reuben Bain Jr., edge rusher, Miami, 6'2", 263 pounds. With the 16th pick, the New York Jets select Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon, 6'3", 241 pounds.
I want to start here with Reuben Bain from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay never thought Reuben Bain would be there. And, they were looking at Mesidor, the other Miami pass rusher, possibly, and then all of a sudden this Miami pass rusher is sitting right there. But, here's a guy also, Terry, when we first started breaking down, like, who's going to go where here, Reuben Bain was all the way at the top there with, Reese and Bailey. But then all of a sudden everybody started pushing him down because of short arms. Some people like him said, hey, Mike Tyson had short arms. Some people who don't like him obviously said, well, Mike Tyson doesn't play football. Where did you look at it with this? I think his violence, I think guys like this too, we're talking about a couple-inch arms, but obviously he knows how to do it in college. Why does that arm length mean so much on this level where you go from potential top 5 down to 15?
It's a great question, and what you're doing we're projecting these players from college to the NFL. So in projecting a player, you have to make sure you look at all these factors. And what nobody wants to say is the hit rate in the first round is about 50-50. Mm-hmm. All these guys aren't going to make it. And then as you get past the first round, it goes down. So you have to make sure you're looking at the historical data. And when you look at the arm length at 31, that's shorter arms for a defensive end, a pressure player, the things that he needs to do, those are shorter arms. Like you said, what are you going to do to counterbalance that? What are you going to do to make up for that, rather? And with him, he's got really quick hands. He's violent. He's powerful, extremely instinctive. He plays with leverage, unbelievable motor. Jason Taylor obviously coaches these guys, and he does a hell of a job. His tape is fun to watch because of how he plays the game. And so I think he's going to be a good player in this league. But that's one of those things, and he probably did go lower because of that point. And you got to look at all those things.
I don't want to get carried away on this, but the last time a guy slipped in the draft, that was a defensive lineman that was pretty good for the Miami Hurricanes. Had the name of Warren Sapp that got drafted by a franchise by the name.
But not because he has short arms.
What? Well,
right?
That's what
totally different.
He had 32. He had 32-inch arms to Bain's 30 inches. It was crazy. But yes, there were some other reasons as to why. Yep. But with that being said, for one reason or another, he was a freshman All-American too, by the way. Bain has his accolades. Mm-hmm. I'll just say this. There could be an airy similarity here in terms of what the potential impact is. We were talking about during the break. I think he's a boom or bust type. And I don't want to say bust. That might be strong. Right. He's a boom to serviceable player. He could end up very easily being that player that is very, very serviceable in a way where he's not quite a Pro Bowler, all pro, but has very, very positive seasons and contributions to the team. But his ceiling says he does have the potential to have an impact like a Warren Sapp playing maybe even on the inside, to the outside, can move him around. He does have the versatility to be able to move from the 0 to the 3 all the way out to 6 or even 7 techniques out there on the defense. So there is versatility there, even though there are concerns. I think the upside should outweigh any type of trepidation that they have towards having Bain be on their team.
Yep, and he's still got a high floor because of the way he plays the game. You look at Brandon Graham, Melvin Ingram, or a couple guys that had similar measurables to him. And Brandon Graham, you remember early on in his career, you expected a double-digit sack guy. You weren't getting that, but he played really good football for a long time for Philadelphia. So when you have a guy that's tough and violent and instinctive, fundamentally knows how to play the game, he's going to be a solid player. Is he going to be a 10-plus sack? We'll see, but he's going to be a good football player.
Man, in the NFL, violence solves a lot of problems.
Yes,
and he's violent.
Right? Absolutely.
He gets after it.
Absolutely.
You're right.
And he's not like a loud, bash, University of Miami kind of guy. He's not like that.
Brown suit.
Right? Brown suit, man.
Brown suit. He just
that says
up.
it all.
He didn't even get anybody's eye. He just woke up.
Yeah, he's a quiet guy.
I'm delivering the goods.
Right, he's a quiet guy.
Last time I checked, brown suit means you're delivering something. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So maybe he's sending a message.
Little
I'm
chip
about
on
to
his
deliver.
shoulder.
I'm about to deliver some. Deliver the goods. You know. Just saying.
Deliver the goods.
Why else have on a brown suit?
And we talked about Sadiq going here, going to the Jets also, and then now you got your second wave of offensive linemen coming, and you're going to have a guy here. The Lions going to take offensive line. I know Carolina was looking for offensive line. Then after that, you might have some teams that are saying, "Oh, there's only a couple left, so let's jump up, try and trade up if we can." So you might see a couple trades here. It'd just be interesting. Because there's not a lot of those offensive linemen left after these next couple of linemen go off the board.
Well, the Lions pick is in.
With the 17th pick, the Detroit Lions select Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson, 6'7", 317 pounds.
Blake Miller. Like his pick?
Yep. I know they were always looking for offensive line.
Yeah, they needed that.
And by the way, I know they were sitting there also in Vegas, was just like 2 picks away or 3, and I know they're like, "Oh man, is there a possible way they can get somebody like that?" But yeah, they go get a guy like Blake Miller, who was again probably fourth or fifth, tackle
right
on
range.
Right, we're in the range of offensive tackles out there. But a really good prospect over there. And then after that, you got a guy like Freeling from Georgia, who's like the first pure left tackle in this draft, and another one, and Lomu out there. And then after that's just not a lot of tackle. I might be missing 1 or 2, but there's not a lot after that. So I could see some of these teams, like I said, in the 20, try and jump up if they can for one of these 2 last remaining tackles. There's maybe 1 guard, maybe 2 could sneak in, but now also do you have a run on wide receivers? We're going to have runs after this gets kind of used up. We're going to have some runs. We've only had, I think we've had the 1 corner so far, right?
1 corner.
We've had the 1 safety, but, you're not going to have a lot of running backs, right? You're going to have maybe 1 more in this first round. There'll be no other quarterbacks in this first round. So I think now we'll see, different runs on
this is a perfect
receivers
pick
and some linebackers to go.
Yeah, perfect pick for Detroit. I kind of have them written down that if that run happens too quick, they'll trade up for one of these guys if they needed to. But this is a perfect pick for them. The most important ability is availability. This dude had 54 straight starts. And you talk about Dan Campbell and the type of guy. This is a no-nonsense prototype. He's really good makeup. He fits exactly what you want in an offensive lineman. Tall, athletic. This is a really
real
good
quick, I got another trade that's happening, gang. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to trade up right now. They are trying to trade up here, I think, with Dallas, so they can actually go receiver.
Interesting.
Hold on. But the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to trade up.
Look,
the last receiver here is
a receiver.
Of the top 3 is Lemon from USC, right?
From USC.
So yes, guys, I've got a little breaking news here. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to end up trading up with the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to end up. We all know about A.J. Brown. What's going to happen with A.J. Brown? Obviously, they never thought that Lemon would be down there, all the way down there. So they move up. They were originally looking for offensive line, but they're going to end up going for Lemon, wide receiver from USC. When that's who I'm told they're going to end up making the pick.
Very fine football player too.
But a big trade here. Philadelphia Eagles.
Big player.
Howie Roseman always trying to make these moves, but
wow.
Just a little more breaking news there.
Oh, I love that. More breaking news coming your way. Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio with insider Jay Glazer, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot. I was like, why am I caught up on your name? I was thinking of the T. Unbelievable. College Football Hall of Famer LaVar Arrington. I'm Jenny Taft. I need a break, apparently. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Dan Patrick Show. I think what makes The Dan Patrick Show unique is you never know what you're going to get each morning. I view each hour as like a jigsaw puzzle. We kind of piece it together. You could get something that is serious one day, 1 hour. We don't feature a running back in too many offenses anymore. Emmett, your record's safe. It could be off the rails. The second hour of the show.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Great show.
Thank you, Jim. You sound like Joe Pesci.
How am I funny to you?
But that unpredictability starts at the top, and that's part of the fun. I'm stunned. Do you think you're the best quarterback in the NFL?
I believe so. I wake up to try to be the best in the world.
What are you doing with a Phillies hat on?
Oh, it matched my outfit. I got a Bart Simpson shirt on.
We try to reach the audience in a variety of ways. There's social media. You can get archival shows. So it never stops. We're a reflection of the things that you go through. We like to let you in and let you be part of the program. We just want to be inclusive. We just want to have that relationship with you. It's reciprocal. Ted in Tampa. Hi, Ted. How's morale in Tampa with your Buccaneers?
Hey, morale's great.
Relatable. I mean, that's our goal every day. We sort of want to mirror what you are and who you are. We just get a platform to do it. If you like big name guests, you like somebody who asks intelligent questions, you like fun, you like somebody who has the ability to make you think, make you run the gamut of emotions, and you like ratings, we're the show for you. I just state the facts. Wow, I did not expect that. Yeah!
takes. Draft Night Live is brought to you by Express Bros and Weevil.
Boy, this is really a dream come true.
The picks, the analysis.
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza. With the second pick, the New York Jets select David Bailey. With the third pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love. With the fourth pick, the Tennessee Titans select Carnell King.
With the fifth overall pick, the New York Football Giants select Arvell Reese, linebacker from the Ohio State University.
With the sixth pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mansour Delane. With the seventh pick, the Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles. With the eighth pick, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson.
This is Draft Night Live, brought to you by Express Pros and Weevil. Back to Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Draft Night Live's host, Jenny Taft.
Draft Night Live is back on Fox Sports Radio. We got some picks to get to. Vikings, Panthers. Take a listen.
With the 18th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Caleb Banks, defensive line, Florida, 6'6", 327. With the 19th pick, the Carolina Panthers select Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, Georgia, 6'7", 317 pounds.
Yeah, we previewed these a little bit already. Any more reactions before we move on?
What did we? We just talked about Mekhi Lemon here, right? So,
yeah.
Look, we talked about A.J. Brown. I do believe A.J. will get traded after. I believe he'll get traded after June 1.
Okay, so
I know that
now.
they're because you have to spread out the cap, and they've been asking for a first-round pick. I know the Patriots aren't there. The Patriots are, I think they've offered like a second and a third, but not a first-round pick. And, I don't know if they just look and say, okay, whatever the best we can get at that point, we'll move on. Or Harry Roseman's also been known to say, no, if I don't get what I don't want, I'm not doing it. And, A.J. Brown's too good of a player. Just say we're just moving on and take the best of the worst picks we can get if they're looking for a lot more. I know the Rams were involved at one point also, and they were like multiple picks, but they dropped out. So it's kind of hard also when you have nobody else to negotiate against for A.J. Brown. But getting a guy like Mekhi Lemon, if they keep A.J. Brown, then obviously, man, that just really adds, because he's like, when you talk to people, he kind of plays like Puka, right? He gets after you here, really, really violent. He'll get it. He's great with the ball in his hands afterwards. Look for contact. And to add a guy like that to the Eagles, it's fantastic, whether they have A.J. Brown or not. I think it's a really, really great selection for Howie Roseman.
And I'm obviously greedy because, you don't let good players out the building. They could coexist because really he's a prototype slot. He's the perfect slot. You can put him inside. He's got such a good feel. He's effective at every level because of the way he runs routes, the way he catches the ball. So he's a really good, really effective slot. He can play outside as well. But if it doesn't work with A.J. Brown, they try to make it work. They could coexist with all the receivers that they have, and that'd be scary to go against. You wouldn't have enough corners to stop it. But he's a fun player. He's a fun player. He's really confident. He's been effective he was a national champ in Pop Warner. He's always been a good player. Two-time All-American in high school.
National champ in Pop Warner?
Pop Warner,
wow.
National champ. Legit player. So yeah, fun to watch. Really, he could play corner. He's that athletic. He's that kind of guy. So great pick by Philly, and we'll see what happens with AJ. But if for some reason it doesn't work, they could all play, and that's a scary receiver position.
It'll be interesting to see the dynamic of it. I mean, to potentially deal a guy at June 1st, that's like so late in the game. So much has happened and is solidified by June 1st. It's almost like, man, don't do it now. Like let's run it back and see what we can do. But bringing in Lemon, I call him the giant killer. He doesn't drop balls. I think he has 3 drop balls over the last 2 seasons. He makes big plays. He shows up when they need him, and he plays with that same type of spirit that an Amon-Ra St. Brown played with when he was there. So maybe it's the standard that has been set by him, that the example that was set. He plays in that same type of mold. Like, he has a chip on his shoulder. He plays aggressive, and he wants it. It's not there's the diva-ish side of receivers, but then there's the go-getter side of receivers. And this receiver has more of that go-getter side of it, that dog that bites side of it. So I like this pick for them. His personality 100% fits into that Philadelphia style of play and that culture that exists there. So yeah, I like this one for Philly.
Yeah, and again, Philadelphia Eagles originally were like hoping to move up for an offensive lineman. I told you that if there was going to be a run, I don't think they thought that Mekhi Lemon would be sitting there. Now, again, I told you Pittsburgh Steelers all along. I knew they were looking at offensive line, but man, what a great value pick there was for considering Philadelphia originally thinking they were going to have to trade all the way up to get one of those top offensive linemen, could just sit there and move up a little, I should say, and get a guy like Mekhi Lemon. That's and by the way, if the Rams did not go Ty Simpson, Lemon was the guy that they were going to go with. So they were thinking about him all the way to 13.
How does Omar Cooper compare in your estimations to?
I didn't have anybody who had Cooper above him. It was the three receivers that have already been off the board, and then Cooper was kind of mixed in. And Terry, you can talk about this. Mixed in with a couple of the other receivers on that second wave.
It's a good question though, because he's the other slot. Like, when you categorize these players for what they are, Omar Cooper's the other one that this is the prototype slot. But with Cooper, I feel like he needs to be in the slot. Like, he may not be as effective outside. Where Lemon, you can put him anywhere on the field and he can still be a good player. Like sometimes you look at guys because, like Steve Smith, sometimes people would say he's a slot, but that dude, you put him anywhere on the field.
And
I think Lemon's more like that. Right. But I think Cooper needs to be in the slot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because he makes plays.
Yes.
I saw him do it against us in State College.
And he's kind of built like he's built like the Debo somewhat, right?
Together.
Like,
Heck yeah.
Really put together, and I know they really like him over there also with Indiana. But yeah, again, he was kind of in that second wave of receivers.
I got you.
We wait on the Steelers next with that 21st pick. And speaking of players going pro, Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is presented by Express Pros. Facing production swings or a tough skills gap, Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals make hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster. Visit expresspros.com today.
So I believe a cool little side note while they're announcing the pick number 57 for this year's draft gets, I guess, lifetime supply of ketchup.
Of Heinz?
Of Heinz ketchup. It's a Heinz 57 ketchup. So just a cool little deal. I thought that was pretty cool. And I guess Devin Hester was a number 57th pick. So he's like kind of helping the whole thing. But as thought, the Steelers go with a tackle and build it through the line of scrimmage. That's Steel Town. Line of scrimmage or D line of scrimmage, right? That's what they say.
And the Steelers pick is in.
With the 21st pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Max Iannaccio, offensive tackle, Arizona State, 6'6", 321 pounds.
Well, we got our first viral moment.
and this is an interesting guy because, he's a guy that doesn't obviously have a lot of football, played basketball a lot. I asked, is he more like a basketball player, more like a football player? I said, no, he's more like a football player, has that mentality, but he is so raw, right? But he's put together. I'm 6'6", 321. He is shredded for that. And without a doubt, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they need some help on that offensive line. But again, it's that. Now you're down to like the last couple, so they had to go. They wanted offensive line there. You're looking at him. You're looking at like Lomu from Utah, the other tackle over there. There's not a lot left down there. So
that's really it. I would say those two are the guys that you're like. They're definitely going in the first. But this is a cool one right here. He's only played football for 5 years.
Wow.
He's in JUCO playing basketball. Grew up playing soccer and basketball. JUCO playing basketball. And all of a sudden they see this big athletic guy. He's 6'6", 321, ran a 4.9 at the combine. So he's extremely athletic. And they say, let's put this guy on the football field and see what he can do. And he is extreme. You see the soccer player in him because his feet are so quick. He's so athletic.
Yeah, he's got good feet.
He can open up and run, so he can do so many good things. Now, is he a day one starter right away? There's some things he's got to develop, but the upside, yes, the upside is so tremendous. He's got more upside than a number of the linemen that went ahead of him. It's going to take him more time to develop, but once he gets it and figures it out, right, if he's playing too early, they're going to attack him with some counters and some power and do some line movements. But once he gets going, man, he's going to be a really good player.
It's interesting talking about the amount of time that he's played. Some guys, at some positions, it's okay. It's you can transition out and you can make it work for you. But certain positions –
the hell was that?
Sniff it out. You sniff out the fact that they haven't been playing this game for long enough. And I look at you and I see that you're big. And I see that you got good feet. And they say you play basketball and all that good stuff. But you're on the line.
Right.
You on this line.
Right.
The trenches, that line that's that they call the Serengeti, where you either hunt or you're hunted. I think he's raw. I think he has all the tools to be a really, really good football player, but he's going to have to get up to speed very quickly, being on a Pittsburgh Steelers team that needs to get back to the Pouncey times, the Faneca times, the Hardings times. He's going to have to get up to speed and know that it's not just that athleticism or having those good feet to be able to kick a soccer ball. You got to put your hat on somebody. You got to put your body on somebody. You got to open up holes. They run the ball in the AFC North. It's physical. It's a black and blue division in the AFC North, and that's going to be interesting to see how he acclimates to that going there.
The good thing about him, though, because I'm agreeing with you, the good thing about him is – the effort, the urgency, the competitor. When you're putting on the tape, you see him, the way he plays the game, the temperament he plays with. So the skill set, the temperament, the makeup, all those elements, you believe, okay, it's just the fundamental part of it that he's got to get the pad level down, the hand use, understand how to handle all this movement up front. So once he gets it down, it's going to be real fun.
Whew. Hey, we talked earlier about
what's that?
Todd Simpson, the 13th pick, which was the pick you traded the Rams.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've talked about this because I'm on my phone half the time here, but with James Pierce, right? We talked earlier about, hey, there weren't character guys in this draft. There was obviously with James Pierce.
Yep.
What about last year made you say, okay, we're comfortable giving up next year's one?
Yeah.
For a guy like Pierce who had a lot of those character concerns, which obviously we've seen.
Yeah, so we felt we knew the player, and we felt like he is a top 5 pass rusher,
he
all
really
pro
was
caliber, and that's from the coaches, that's from the scouts, that's from analytics. We felt like this is a top 5 guy. Now we know there were character concerns, but when we look at our building, our coaching staff, our locker room, what we believe that's the superpower of a Raheem Morris, of a Jeff Ulbrich. That's their superpower to bring these guys along. And so we bring them in and say, let's get the most out of them. And you got to look at next year's draft too, Jay. And so we understand we're giving up a pick for next year. But and first of all, what's going on, your heart breaks for it, praying for everybody and hope that everything goes okay with that. And that just breaks your heart. But we're looking at the total picture of it, and it's worth giving up a pick next year. We're just using that pick a little bit early.
Why? Because you didn't think there'd be good pass rushers in this draft?
Because we're looking ahead to it and knowing that we're not going to get a pass rusher like this.
Okay.
And we're anticipating having a lower pick. And then we got a 3rd-round pick back, which we took Xavier Watts with. So that was the vision of look at the total picture, look at the draft next year, what's going to be in that, and, again, look at your building and can we handle this or not. So it's looking at all the factors.
Great insight. Well, the Chargers pick is in. Before we go to break, let's take a listen.
With the 22nd pick, the Los Angeles Chargers select Akeem Mesidor, edge, Miami, 6'3", 259 pounds.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio. We'll be right back. Jay Glazer, Terry Fontenot, LaVar Arrington, Jenny Taft. The Cowboys in the 22nd pick after the break.
Finding great candidates.
To Lost Wages, Nevada, which at this point is like a suburb of L.A. I was just there over the weekend, where the parking is expensive, the gambling is not very profitable, and the football is bad. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. So I read that Fernando Mendoza, who by all accounts is resting up in the clubhouse, he will be the number one draft. Mendoza going to the Raiders. They just have to wait till April 23rd to announce that. Well, Mendoza will not start right away for the Raiders if Coach Clint Kubiak, his dad, Clint Kubiak has his way. Do you see this? No? Why would you keep up with the Raiders? I don't blame you. So Clint Kubiak said recently that the Raiders don't want the player they pick, wink, wink, the player they pick, which is, of course, going to be barring some kind of arrest with hookers and cocaine, Fernando Mendoza, to start from day number one. So that's what they're saying. So the question, let's navigate the maze. We're going to navigate the maze. What do you make of the Raiders' plans to not use the default number one pick, Fernando Mendoza, as the starter at the beginning of the season? That's what Clint Kubiak said, the new head coach. So this is capital J joke. Capital J, I'm going to get my take in prematurely. Capital J joke for the Raiders. The whole point of being that bad, and the Raiders tanked. They embarrassed the legacy of Al Davis and the greatness of the Raiders. They absolutely tanked. And all you losers that love your little tanking and you're losing on purpose, this is what you got. You got the number one pick in the draft. When you get that, okay, this is the way it works, right? It's not in a perfect world. We're not talking about a perfect world. The reason you had the top pick was because you're far from a perfect world, right? The player should not sit. No. If you're picking first overall, especially like the Raiders who intentionally were tanking to get to that pick, that guy should come with a red sticker, no assembly required, ready to use right out of the box. Get what's in the box, get it out of the box, and ready to go. Instead, the Raiders are essentially telling every man, woman, and child that Fernando Mendoza is not no assembly required. He's more like IKEA furniture. Right? Some assembly required. I'll give you a little crappy Allen wrench and instructions that are written in some weird language that you don't know how to read. That's not what the number one pick is supposed to be. It's not. Mendoza, the top pick, is supposed to be like going to Jerome's Furniture, and it's just delivered. Everything's ready to go here, and set up and enjoy your Sunday supper with your new kitchen table and your TVs and all that, or your sofa, whatever. He's a weekend pet project, it would appear at this point. That's the problem. You don't take a guy at the very top if he needs more seasoning. That tells you that he's not the guy. If you need a red shirt year, that means you are about to make a mistake. And you're so stupid that you don't even realize it. This is pre-damage control. Does anyone else in the room realize? This is pre-damage control? And it is a dead giveaway. It tells you that the Raiders know this guy is not really the pedigree of a top pick. It's just that they need a quarterback, and he had the nice resume, and so they're going to take him and then hopefully get some rosary beads, and that'll work out. All right, last word here. So putting a bow on all this with the Raiders, who will be the stars of April, that NFL draft here in late April. So Clint Kubiak said he wanted Fernando Mendoza to sit behind a, quote, mature adult to watch how to run the show. So that leads to the obvious question: how do you process the Raiders' Clint Kubiak's plans to find a mature adult at quarterback? So this is also a tell. It is also a tell, and my eyebrows were raised a little bit. It's a tell. The Raiders are firing up the old bat signal for the island of misfit quarterbacks, and there's not a lot there. There's several guys wearing dunce caps right now, and they're whispering, and that's it. And so what this leads me to believe is we are looking at a discount shopping spree. A discount shopping spree, blue light special, the Maller scale of confidence that this will go well for the Raiders. A 1 to 10, I am at a 2 on the Maller scale of confidence. I'm at a 2, and I'm being generous. This is a quagmire with a capital Q. Quagmire.
With the 11th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs gives me that Earl Thomas vibe.
With the 20th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Mekhi Lemon.
He's the perfect slot, but if it doesn't work with A.J. Brown, they try to make it work. They could coexist.
What a great value picture was for considering Philadelphia originally thinking they were going to have to trade all the way up to get one of those top offensive linemen, could just sit there and move up a little, I should say, and get a guy like Mekhi Lemon.
You're listening to Draft Night Live, presented by Express Pros and Weevil. Once again, here's Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Jenny Taft.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio is back. I was just thinking how much fun this is to sit with you guys, get all the inside scoop. It's moving so fast. I just love this. I feel like, how lucky are we? This is our job. The Cowboys pick is in. Let's get to it. Get some reactions.
With the 23rd pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Malachi Lawrence, linebacker, UCF, 6'4", 253.
All right, Malachi Lawrence.
Yep. They wanted another pass rusher there. I know he's listed as linebacker, but he's really an edge rusher. You know, they were hoping that they can come out with some. They obviously need to add on the defensive side of the ball here. And look, I told you early on, Cowboys wanted. They're going to try and make a trade if they can for any of those Ohio State defensive players. They got one in Caleb Downs, but they're so ecstatic. I've been getting texts from them, you know, after that pick, so ecstatic. And Malachi Lawrence is another guy. They actually look, when you have picks later on, it's hard for cats to really target people because you just don't know who's going to be down there against, like Howie Roseman, not knowing that Mekhi Lemon would be there. But Malachi Lawrence was somebody the Cowboys told me about who are hey, he's somebody we are going to be looking at in the couple that they clubbed together for that second first-round pick.
Yep. There's an overlap on their staff with UCF, so they knew the player really well. And 6'4", 253, 33-inch arms, ran a 4.52, and he is an explosive, twitchy rusher. I mean, he can rush inside, rush outside, but you know what you're getting. There's some things in the run game he can continue to improve on, but he has pressure traits. And when you have pressure traits and when you have people in the building that believe in you, now you've got Caleb Downs and you got a really good pressure player. That's an exciting first round.
He's a project player, you know.
Sure.
Not from the projects, but a project that you're going to have to work on. Does have that quick twitch, as you guys mentioned, can get to the quarterbacks. You know, had 20-plus sacks in college, and he's a bigger body. You know, at 250 plus, he's got that twitch, but he's got a bigger body where we've had the conversation. Is he a designated pass rusher?
Yeah.
Is he a three-down defensive end edge guy? This is a guy that actually you can implement and incorporate him in your defensive schemes to be able to play on first downs, on run downs. not just use him at times as he grows a little bit. You might even be able to use him a little bit on the inside as well. He has the frame to get a little bit bigger as he moves forward.
I'll tell you this too. Look, we have the Browns with their pick, but the Chicago Bears, I knew they were looking for some dogs. Like, man, we want to get, they want to bring in. Hey, originally it was like maybe one of the best available pass rushers left. They were looking at a guy like Falk, but they're like, if somebody drops to us like a Thieneman, man, we'd have to kind of jump on that. And I just looked like Thieneman still there. Originally the Minnesota Vikings were looking at him. So a team like the Chicago Bears with a guy like Thieneman still sitting there, who we just talked about, Caleb Downs, he's clearly the second best safety on that draft, board. I think they end up jumping up for Thieneman here, having a great, being real happy about that. I just know, how they had a lot of these guys ranked.
Yeah, Dennis Allen was a safety. D coordinator, really smart, instinctive, could take the ball
this guy's
away.
Real smart. Yeah.
Now he was a safety at Texas A&M. He didn't make it past that point. Dennis Allen didn't, but he's been in the secondary rooms for a long time. He loves defensive backs. They got Kobe Bryant, put him next to there. You got that safety position figured out pretty well.
Yeah, and I know Falk, again, the Auburn edge rusher. We're talking about these guys now. There's going to be a run. There's going to be a run on these guys, but I didn't know if Thieneman was still sitting there. That I thought they were going to jump in him, which I do think they will. And the Cleveland Browns, we talked about Casey Concepcion, right, wide receiver going, and he is probably the best in the draft with the ball in his hands, right? But the problem is make sure he holds on the ball, getting the ball in his hands, right? He has that problem there. He'll drop some, but he is so electric, the ball in his hands. But also everybody fell in love with him because he has a stuttering issue, and he said, I want to start working this. I want to go and speak publicly as much as I can, and I want to help show other people. And Darren Sproles did that also with the Eagles. I love that. I used to have Darren on shows that I would do at Fox Sports Net back in the day, and he would just want to get reps and try and face it and help other people with that issue. And Casey Concepcion doing the same thing. So people just loved him, loved the character in this draft, but certainly loved what he could do with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and when you talk about it, if you have some drops, if the hands are a little inconsistent, that doesn't work if you're a possession receiver. That doesn't separate. That doesn't work. But with a guy like him, he's so dynamic when he does catch it, whether it's underneath, getting it to him quick and letting him beat people in space. He can run the ball out the backfield just because he's so athletic, getting to him downfield. So when he gets the ball in his hands, he's a special player. He returns. So he does all those things. And look, you can improve some of those things with your hands, but special player, special person, good pick.
Let's make it official for the Browns with the 24th pick.
With the 24th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Casey Concepcion, wide receiver, Texas A&M, 6 foot, 196 pounds.
Crazy undersized. Like when you take a look at the measurables of a Casey Concepcion, you had better be Darren Sproles. Like, you had better be. They use the word human joystick, or the term human joystick. I remember Dante Hall being the human joystick, putting people, putting them on Sega Genesis, putting them on PlayStation.
See,
with the way they move.
You didn't show your age with Dante Hall. You showed your age with Sega Genesis.
I tried to get away with it.
Sega.
You played Sega,
but there's
Sega
a lot of
Genesis, because that was when I still played video games. But Sega. But I tell you what, in this day and age, it is,
and he's a great return guy, though.
It's because he's very versatile. It's
very versatile.
It's become such a 7-on-7 culture in the way we look at our skilled positions that I feel like sometimes now maybe it gets a little bit lost in translation. Being smaller does not necessarily mean that you're not as good or can't be as good as the bigger body, the longer receivers that are going. It just means that your skill set is a little bit there. Here's one that'll age you. When I was in school, a guy by the name of Santana Moss was in school. He was undersized, but let me tell you something. If there was a Mighty Mouse in college football that year, it was Santana Moss, because couldn't nobody deal with him. You know what I mean? He was up topping on everybody. It didn't matter what. It didn't matter if it was Ohio State or Penn State. It didn't matter who they were playing against. Santana Moss brought that type of deal. There's another name, Devin Hester, that comes to mind when thinking about what maybe KC could possibly represent, that type of speed, style, the movement, like his film really is. And man, maybe I don't want to get carried away at Devin Hester, or Santana. But anyway, I mean, the kid can really play some football, and he is very dynamic in what he brings to the table. In the special teams game as well, which is super important.
Yeah, let's not compare anybody to Devin Hester.
Yeah. My bad.
Let's not go that route.
I got a little carried away there. You know, every once in a while you get a little carried. You want to see? Look, y'all gave me a good story on the kid. I wanted to hype him a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I had to pull myself back a little bit.
Trey, who's been your biggest surprise here? I'm assuming it's Ty Simpson. We'll take him out of it. Tell me somebody else who's been your biggest surprise.
Probably Dallas going where they did.
With Downs?
No, with
Lawrence.
Okay.
You know, that was one that, and look, I think he's a good player. And really, even when we're talking about, even if he just ends up being a pass rusher initially, a DPR, that's 70+% of the game you're in sub. So, but that was one of them, and he's got a good skill set.
But
you know, probably a little bit, because there's still some guys that you like. And again, that's what we said is so cool about this draft. What's your flavor? Mm-hmm. Like when you look at the edge rushers that are out there, you got Falk, you got TJ Parker, you got some guys out there, and yet what's your flavor? Yeah. And what's your vision for them? So not so much a surprise, Jay, you know, but there's some other edge rushers still out there to be had.
Still pick for the Bears. Still pick. You just talked him up. Now we got him.
All right, guys. Well, Fox Sports Radio's Draft Night Live is brought to you by Webull. It's time to get your financial portfolio game ready. With Webull, get powerful investing tools and real-time data all in one platform. Get started by downloading the Webull app today or visiting Webull.com.
Webull Financial, LLC, member SIPC FINRA. Investing involves risk. For more information, visit Webull.com/disclosures.
We have another trade.
What do you got?
The Houston Texans are trying to trade up right now. Okay.
With Buffalo or San Fran?
Houston is trading up with the Buffalo Bills. And look, I know all along Houston wants offensive line. I told you people are going to have to go offensive line. I think the best, lineman out there though.
It's Caleb Lomu.
Well, is there a guard out there that you may like? Right?
Yeah.
Do we have any guards out here that we like?
Yeah. You got.
Let's see.
Can play both.
Yeah, I'm looking through them. There's a couple guards that you look at that can do some different things. It just depends on where they're looking at, and Rutledge is a guy that could be someone that could fit what they need, particularly what they need on their offensive line. I think that makes.
You like him better than Lomu over there?
It's close. It just depends on exactly what you want to do with him and how you're going to utilize him.
Okay, I like it. But yeah, they're trading up here with the Buffalo Bills. Bills are just going to go back 2 slots uppers, but we know the Houston Texans, they need offensive line help. Well, without a doubt, they need offensive line help.
And like you said, there's going to be a run. And once that run starts, those guys start getting thin.
Yeah, it was interesting. You bring up Rutledge, his agent called me today, and he said, "Hey, what do you think?" I said, "Well, definitely second day, but I'm starting to hear a lot more about him today in the 20s. I'm starting to hear about it." I said, "I think you're in pretty good shape for him today." And if that's who they go, then obviously, yeah, he's moved up here a lot in probably the last 5 or 6 days.
Yep.
And again, he's down in the bottom of the second rung, if you will, of offensive line.
Yeah, I don't even feel comfortable giving out any of the names that I've come up with. We're still in the first round. Like, we're not going to just start throwing names out there. Yeah, I don't know. You might have to go with a different position.
This is, it's an interesting draft too. Again, we have 1 running back, so it's not so surprising, but 1 corner.
Yeah,
we have more safeties than corners.
Yep,
which is very rare.
That is rare,
right?
Yeah,
2 safeties, 1 corner. We've had 1 inside backer, right?
1 inside backer, 1 tight end.
1 tight end. No, 1 defensive tackle, right?
Just one defensive
tackle.
Yeah, and the other one that you were even thinking about here was
Peter
Woods, right? But again, it's depending on where people. Yeah, for the most part, I had him in second round. But again, all you need is 1 to love him there in the first round. Get him late here. But this is where the draft it is weak. It's weak at the
This is
the
the
last.
area?
The in the 20s, it was weak, and that's why Philadelphia Eagles sat there and they saw Lemon. They're like, oh my God, let's
Made
jump up
sense.
and get him. Right.
Well, the Bears pick is now in as well. Let's get to it.
With the 25th pick, the Chicago Bears select Dylan Thieneman, safety, Oregon, 6'2", 201.
Love the reaction. Love the joy. How about that pick for the Bears?
Yeah,
Tan
that's what
suit
we're just talking about, right?
and aviators inside. He's got a little swag.
I don't mind it.
And you know what happened to him also? Like Caleb Downs went over there and played the second game, especially against Oregon. And they just did so much with him, right? Matt Patricia did so much. It's like, hey, I'm going to make sure he's wherever the ball is, take it out. And then Oregon, I think, looked at that and said, we're going to try to do the same thing with Thieneman.
They did.
Right? And they did. And then he started just flying up boards as a result. Now, when earlier in the week, when I just started, or 2 weeks ago, probably had him low 20s, or low first round, maybe second round. But, man, a lot of teams started flying up. I know Minnesota started thinking about him all the way up there at 17. Again, the Bears thought he was going to be gone well before this. So I know if he was on the board, they were going to jump at that. But, yeah, I think it's a really, really good pick for the Bears. But they're also looking for dogs over there. We talked about Dennis Allen. He wants some of those guys for dogs, and they think he is.
Yep. Highly competitive. You can do so many different things with him. What he did at the combine, 4.35, 41 vertical, like the measurables he has. Measurables are kind of comparable to like a Cooper Dean type, Cooper DeJean. But there's so many things you can do with him. Dating back to Purdue, he had that really productive first year. Obviously ends up at Oregon and plays and does some different things. But when you got smart guys in that secondary that are versatile, you can do a lot of things with him. I know Dennis is excited.
You know, Jay brought it up earlier and basically, saying taking a book out of the Caleb Downs, playbook. That's exactly what they did, and he benefited from it. Sometimes a guy can run a really, really fast 40, and it's like, oh, my gosh, wow, what an amazing 40. But it doesn't translate on the field. And sometimes I think that's hard for people to comprehend, like, how is he getting beat so bad, or why is this taking place? He's too fast. Look at his 40 times. But this kid, Thieneman, his speed translates on the field, and that's why you saw so many turnovers take place. 17 INTs he was able to get his hands on to pick off. His production is based off of his ability to cover the grass. He covers the ground from sideline to sideline very, very well, and so that ability to cover the ground and that speed translating. Him showing him showing that speed in the 40 actually drove home the point that, okay, we don't have to sit here and have the debate or discussion about how fast is he, on the field, versus, well, he ran a good 40 time. The debate is it puts that to bed. And he's a fine football player and a quality addition.
Yeah, he can play the run. We keep talking about they want competitors over 300 tackles in his career. Good player.
We have another trade also, gang. The Miami Dolphins, they're trading up here with the San Francisco 49ers. I know they're looking, again, with Jeff Hafley, they're going to try and add more and more defense, but they're going to go defensive back here at this position.
So what, Indiana kid? Who do we go with at this point?
No.
So we've talked about the corner, right? We've talked about
McCoy. They're going to go corner. So who do we have left?
Stooks from Arizona.
You got McCoy. You got Hood.
Chris Johnson from San Diego State.
Johnson, right? Yeah. And again, you look at it. I don't think Miami's in a position where they could take McCoy, who's hurt, and say, "Yeah, we can gamble on it." They need somebody who's going to be able to come and play, kind of immediately there to help out because there's so many holes over there on that side of the ball. But again, the Dolphins is that our fourth trade of the first round?
That's about it for defensive backs that would have a first day grade.
And then you have, again, I
first day grade.
Well, you have Cisse, you have Pons, Kalante Scott, both the corners. Well, I think corner from Tennessee, both of them, right? But again, one has an injury concern.
You're talking about Hood as well, Colton.
Yep.
I like Colton Hood a lot. Baseball player, 500-plus hitter in high school. those baseball. Jesse Bates was a center fielder in baseball. Tracking the football and those things. So
You like the multi-sport athletes.
love the multi-sport athletes.
I can
love
tell.
the multi-sport athletes.
They also put him on the number one receiver every single week. They were depending on him to be a cog for their defense that actually gave them the advantage of being able to play different defenses because he was taking on their number one guy. That takes a special guy, to be in the SEC and being able to take on the number one receiver every single week. So that's a good feather in his cap.
All right, well, Draft Night Live is going to take a quick break, but before we go, the Texans did go with Keelan Rutledge, guard from Georgia Tech. Be right back.
All right, so let's get into this draft here because there are some fascinating parts of it, even though not a ton of big names. Let's start with the trade that the Bengals made with the Giants before we get to the actual who's going where. Were you surprised? How surprised were you that the Bengals, who never do this sort of thing, they haven't traded a top 10 pick since like 1966, I think was the year I read yesterday. How surprised were you that the Bengals made this trade?
Extremely surprised, given the cost. So I thought when the Giants put Dexter Lawrence sort of on the block, not officially, but when they acknowledged contract negotiations were a problem and he expressed his discontent, I thought, hey, maybe some team will give him a second round pick. But I did not think they would get a top 10 pick. I thought maybe a team towards the end of the first round. If Buffalo had all of the financial flexibility you'd need to acquire a player like Dexter Lawrence, maybe Buffalo would take on Dexter Lawrence for the cost of a low first round pick. And they would say, this is our icing on the cake, right? Think about some of the notable plays that have cost Buffalo in the postseason in recent years. Game of inches for them. Cincinnati has the 10th pick in the draft, which I get it. Joe Burrow missed a lot of time last year. I didn't think this team was just Dexter Lawrence away from competing. I also think that while this draft is not good, and I acknowledge that, the 10th overall pick in this draft compared to 10th overall pick in prior drafts, not as valuable. There's still the chance, the idea, the concept that you have the 10th pick, that immediately comes with 5 years of contract control at a fraction of the cost. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to look up quickly. J.J. McCarthy was the 10th pick in the draft 2 years ago. So it'll be a slight inflation. But J.J. signed for 4 years and call it $22 million, that fifth-year team option. So so this year's first 10th overall pick will be something like 4 years and probably $23.5 million. That's less than $6 million per year. For a guy that's younger, and I don't know that it'll be better than Dexter Lawrence. He may get there in time. It probably won't be out of the gates. I just am surprised by the heavy-handedness by Cincinnati. I think it's a great deal, obviously, for the Giants. This is a player who was not happy. This is a team that needs a lot of work, and they now have 2 top 10 picks. They don't control the draft, but they're about as influential as any team in the top 10 now, given that nobody else can boast those 2 top 10 picks.
What do you expect them to do with those picks?
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz about them being a wide receiver team. I do think this, though, and I could see that. I'm not dismissing that possibility at all. Jordan Tyson being the name you've heard connected to the Giants the most. The 2 top 10 picks, to me, allow this Giants team to do, it's the John Harbaugh show, right? Like Joe Shane still a part of this, but John Harbaugh, if I guess if we're breaking ties here, it's probably going to be what John Harbaugh wants. And I think that John Harbaugh now has the opportunity to build this thing, which I think is the way that he wants to do, which is how the Ravens have operated and how a lot of successful teams have operated, which is best player available, right? We are not going to be totally beholden to needs. We're going to be taking players that we think belong in the top 5-ish, in the top 10-ish, at 5 and 10 overall. So pretty much any Ohio State defensive player would make some sense for the Giants. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, they'd make a difference for this roster. The offensive line, to me, screams potential number 10 pick. This is a team that they can be fine lining up for a game tomorrow, but 2027 is a problem. Depth is an issue now, and starting level players is an issue for next year, if not sooner. So 5 to me feels like defense, 10 to me feels like interior offensive line for the Giants, but I just think this was a great trade. Like, I feel much better about their outlook now compared to where they were just 4 or 5 days ago prior to this trade.
Yes.
Field, you mentioned wide receivers. How do NFL teams view Carnell Tate, who benefited at Ohio State playing opposite somebody like Jeremiah Smith, but now when an NFL team drafts him that high, you're kind of expecting him to be a wide receiver 1?
Yeah, I would say this is some of the things about the evaluation with Carnell Tate are not Carnell's fault at all. It's more like circumstance.
Pros and Weebo. When the picks go down, we have the insight you need.
So a team like the Chicago Bears with a guy like Thieneman still sitting there, we just talked about Caleb Downs. He's clearly the second best safety on that draft, that board. I think they end up jumping up for Thieneman here, having a great, being real happy about that.
With the 25th pick, the Chicago Bears select Dylan Thieneman.
This is Draft Night Live, brought to you by Express Pros and Weebo. Back to Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Draft Night Live's host, Jenny Taft.
Welcome back to Draft Night Live. So here's the latest. The Dolphins traded up to number 27 in a deal with the 49ers, and Miami will select San Diego State, Chris Johnson. We also have the pick from the Patriots. Take a listen.
With the 27th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Chris Johnson, cornerback, San Diego State, 6 foot, 195 pounds. With the 28th pick, the New England Patriots select Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle, Utah, 6 foot 6, 308 pounds.
You're excited about Lomu, LaVar, because you said, I didn't even realize he was still available.
I didn't know he was still there. And let's just say, to me, there may have been another tackle or two taken before him that this is a better prospect. And on my, I had him coming off first. In fact, I had him coming.
You're talking about Fano first.
Maybe did I say Fano?
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right.
Yeah.
He was in there. Same school.
Both from Utah, yeah.
Okay.
Both from Utah.
But this kid can play, and not only can he play, he's physical. He can finish at the point of attack. And I mixed up names, but I did not mix up his name, is what I mean to say. So I'm very fully aware of what his capabilities are. And yeah, I mean, for the New England Patriots, that style of football that they play, they want to run the ball. You know, they want to be a physical team. They want to be able to bruise you up and wear you down with the running attack. This is the type of player that you put on your offensive line, who is a sturdy, stout, but able to get out there and finish blocks.
I got another trade here.
Uh-oh, let's hear it.
The New York Jets are trading up with the San Francisco 49ers. They're trading back into the first round.
Interesting.
49ers keep trading back. The New York Jets, who are out of the first round, are trading up. Again, the New York Jets are trading up for their third first-round pick of this draft, and they're going to trade up here with the San Francisco 49ers to come in there and get their third first-round pick.
You like this move?
I got to find out what it's for.
Well, they're active. Let's see.
They are, right? Very active. But I did get word that they were kind of looking all the way up at like Buffalo at 26, and they've been looking The Bears, a little bit before, they've been looking to do this, and that was their plan. Not sure who it's for, but they were trying to look to get back up in the first round for quite a bit here.
All right. Biggest question for me right now is who are the best available?
I think. Well, Terry, why don't you go first?
You got edge rushers, still. You still got corners, the edge. You got
guys like Omar Cooper. You got
Yep.
You have a safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, right?
Kendrick Falk.
Denzel Boston. Yep, Kendrick Falk. Rest of the Bears liked up there. Cassius Howard, edge rusher from Texas A&M. You had a couple linebackers
with the injury. I know.
Yeah, no, that's the big thing, right?
He's probably, he loves defensive backs. Could you do that at this point? He's gonna be a good player. He fell because of the injury.
And guys, the Chiefs pick is in. Going with Peter Woods.
With the 29th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Peter Woods, defensive line, Clemson, 6'3", 298 pounds.
Again, real quick. So I know the Chiefs, they were looking at Caleb Banks from Florida. Obviously, he was off. Peter Woods here, but the New York Jets, again, they're trading up. We just talked about some of those receivers. They're trading up to target one of those receivers. I believe it's going to end up being Cooper. The New York Jets trading up into that first round. 3 first-round picks. I think they've done a really good job. If Cooper's the one they end up selecting, they've done a really good job. Mooj has done a good job with this first round here.
Yeah, I mean, that's production, right? I mean, that is definitely considered to be an aggressive approach to what you're doing in day one. I like the Peter Wood pickup. I paid attention to him because he wore 11, and it's funny, but
is he worthy of the 11? Because I know if they're not, you'll make a call and get it taken off.
I'll tell you what, he handles the double team very well. We've been talking about DeMarcus Lawrence. I believe, is it DeMarcus Lawrence? Is that's the guy that just left the Giants? Dexter. I knew I had it wrong. Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, the double team ratio, right? The double team percentages. This is a guy, Peter Woods. He's like he's deceptively big. He's bigger than what he looks.
No, you're right, because he's if you look at his measurables on paper,
he kind of looks undersized.
But he's sturdy.
Right.
He's sturdy. He's well built.
The way he plays that double team, you would think that he would be bigger than what he is, but he's not. But he's so effective in being able to press guys off of him, to create the spacing that he needs. The biggest thing you need from a defensive tackle, really, is their ability to create a defined gap, right? Like when I was playing, it was a little different. Like you told them you had to be here. This is the gap you had to be in. But now it's more defined by what they're able to do. And sometimes that's hard for a linebacker to read off of it because you don't know if they're going to be able to get to the front side of that block or they're going to get cut off because they're not able to get there or fight through a double team. This guy, Woods, he does an excellent job fighting through double teams. He's able to hold at the point of attack. I like this pick. He's one to watch because he does have the ability to be able to make plays from that inside, interior defensive lineman position.
Yeah, he's young. He's still got upside, like you're saying. He's built so sturdy. He's disruptive in both phases because he's so quick, so explosive coming off the ball. Good player.
Well, Jay may have seen this one coming. The Jets pick is in.
With the 30th pick, the New York Jets select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana, 6', 199 pounds.
And throughout the first round of the draft tonight, you can stream us live in the iHeart app by searching Fox Sports Radio. And be sure to select Fox Sports Radio as a preset in the iHeart app. And you can also watch us live on YouTube. Just search Fox Sports Radio on YouTube. That's Fox Sports Radio on YouTube to watch us right now. Hit the subscribe button and enjoy. We will react to Omar Cooper Jr. to the Jets after the break.
is Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking
joking.
Bo Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best. You were dating some girl, and you were like, hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense. Her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win.
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win? Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
We're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar? Yeah. Go up to a cute girl and say, oh, look at that bozo over there. And I'll point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate your show. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct, 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable. You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
coverage. With the 28th pick, the New England Patriots select Caleb Lomu.
For the New England Patriots, that style of football that they play, they want to run the ball.
New York Jets are trading up with the San Francisco 49ers.
With the 30th pick, the New York Jets select Omar Cooper Jr.
You're listening to Draft Night Live, presented by Express Pros and Weevil. Once again, here's Jay Glazer, LaVar Arrington, former Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and Jenny Taft.
Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio. Getting closer and closer to the end here. We do have our pick, the 31st, the Titans. Take a listen.
With the 31st pick, the Tennessee Titans select Keldrick Folk, edge, Auburn, 6'6", 276 pounds.
Jay, we got Seahawks next. Do you have thoughts? What are they going to do here?
Yeah, look, the Seattle Seahawks all along we're looking to try and trade the 32nd pick in the draft. But I was told if they don't, they're looking for that second running back from Notre Dame, Jadarian Price. Obviously, their running back, Kenneth Walker, he left in free agency. But they only have 4 picks in this draft, so they were trying to trade out. They had some preliminary talks with a lot of teams there. But in the end there, if they're not able to make the trade, they'll end up taking Price from Notre Dame. I know they're still trying to work the phones there, trying to see if they can make that trade. If they can't, they'll take that running back from Notre Dame.
Okay, like that.
All right?
It's a good pick. It's a good look. He can tote the rock, and obviously he didn't do as much on passing downs because they had the other runner in there doing it. But man, this dude can tote the rock. He can run between the tackles. He's physical. He's strong, but also he can take it the distance. Yeah. He returns kicks too. He's got legit speed. He's not just a 2-down guy. Like he can really. He can really change the game. So good player.
And by the way, when it comes to John Schneider's picks, I'm like,
yeah,
we believe, anyway. Right?
Yeah.
We believe.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it figured out.
Great point.
Right? I would say him and Ozzie Newsome probably best who've done it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, especially in the free agent era.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, they were a handoff away from Marshawn Lynch for him winning 3 Super Bowls. No. Right, with 2 different staffs.
You may know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all they had to do was hand it off.
That's all they had to do. Hand it off, and he's had 3 Super Bowls, which. Obviously, nobody's done in this era before, but it's also question. There was only 2 running backs, right, in the first round, and probably first 2 rounds, and for them to get the other bona fide all the way down at 32 that's what John Schneider does. He doesn't overthink it. Right?
He said in the fall they were already talking about what they expected with this draft because obviously they only have 4 picks. But he said they were already discussing it and didn't feel like it was going to be as strong of a draft.
Right.
So, hey, let's go use some of these picks. And they went and got Rashid Shaheed, who's an all-pro returner and receiver.
Right.
And so they utilized some of those things. And you don't do those things, I don't know, maybe they don't go. Look, we were in a tight game with them in Atlanta, and all of a sudden, to open up the second half, Shaheed takes one to the house, and that changed that game. He changed some games for them, so they get over the hump, win the Super Bowl. So you can't question anything he's doing. He's got it figured out.
Terry, how much have you enjoyed this side of things, sitting on this side of the draft?
It's completely different.
Yeah.
There's no pressure.
You and I actually talked to John Schneider on the way in.
We were talking to John on the way in.
And he was like, how do you like it? And you're like, I love it. Yeah.
I'm in Malibu. And I don't know if y'all have ever been to Jay's house, but it's a different deal. It's kind of like, that's what you like.
Wait.
Like.
Don't just say it like that, man, because it makes it sound like I got like the gimp from Pulp Fiction living there.
No, I'm saying it's like unbelievably nice.
Oh, it's nice. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That was all right.
Beautiful.
Just make sure people at home know what you're talking about here. We're saying nice things, not bad things.
Come on, Zach! If you picture the nicest 5-star resort in Malibu overlooking the water.
That's rosy.
It's unbelievable. This is it's a different.
He's never invited me. You've
never been there.
Jay used to love me, man. Jay used to love me.
Open invite.
I live right.
Next time Brett Michaels and Wiz Khalifa come and play, you 2 are in.
I'm excited.
You can't just get there. There's gates.
You
can't just get there.
Don't get my house robbed now.
Right.
Don't give away anything else.
What else we need to know?
Oh my gosh. Well, we've enjoyed having you.
You said the security code was what?
Although every time I do leave the house, I have 2 of my fight teammates stay over there.
Yeah.
Mark Kerr with the Smash Machine.
Yeah.
Right? So he stays there.
Though.
And a guy named Jay Haran, who's a bad man. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, hey, and I make sure I post about them staying there. They post there.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, you want to come rob the house? Have at it with these guys.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's not going to end well for you.
I have Mr. Sticks.
You have Mr. Sticks.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Sticks.
I like it.
He's 150 pounds, and he's
I like
a Borbal.
I like it.
He looks like he'll lick your face,
right?
But only if we're there.
All right. Well,
That's
we were
the
waiting
key.
for this one. Seahawks. The pick is in. Take a listen.
With the 32nd pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Jadarian Price, running back, Notre Dame, 5'11", 203.
Saw that one coming, Jay?
Yep. And again, but here's also a guy like John Schneider, where most people, a lot of teams go, okay, well, we have, there's going to be a bunch of players who, and for him go, okay, well, this is a huge need. We lost this in free agency, huge need. Most people aren't going to probably take him, right? Probably going to end up being their second best running back in the draft. He just doesn't overthink it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, again, I know he was trying to trade out of it, but he doesn't overthink it with doing something like there's no reach player or anything like that.
Yep. Has a lot of confidence in their board and what they do. He lets it come off. He's actually more apt. I know he's trying to trade out. He's more apt to trade back kind of through his career with what he's done, but he has so much confidence in their board and in their process, and he believes they're going to get at least 3 more really good players in this draft.
Yeah, because he trades back a lot because he's so good with those later picks.
Yes.
The Bobby Wagners and the Richard Shermans and right pick after pick. So yeah, he's different how he I think sees things. And he tries, like you were not talking about, what a GM should do in this process is try and get not players so much that you like, but players that your coach could use the best.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of GMs get in trouble here, right?
Yes.
They're trying to get players they like and either convince their coach or not force it down their throats. Some cases force it down their throats, right?
Yep.
But I think the best thing for a GM is like, let me get a player that my coach will be able to utilize the best.
Yeah, you have to have a clear vision of how he's going to affect this team, and it's going to be different depending on the scheme, depending on how that coach is going to use them. And so that's what's most important, because the scouts do all the work through the fall, but when you get in April and get with the coaches and go through the process and say, how exactly are we going to use this player? What's the vision for him? How's he going to affect us in games? Because it's easy for a scout, and I fall victim to it. You see athletic guys that can run and do some really cool things. Okay, that's fine, but we got to go play football, and how exactly are we going to use them? And like you said, John does a really good job of that.
How much do you delegate versus personal watching of it? Like, I know I spend a lot of time at Penn State, and I what was the kennel, some of them are gone now, but you go in there and you see, okay, the delegating of who's looking at what and how you're looking at who and where you're visiting. As a GM, you got to try to find that balance in being able to run what's currently going on with your team, but also be staying ahead of free agency or trade possibilities, the draft.
Yeah.
How does that process work for you? Is it a lot more of a delegating of and trust, or is it something that is hard to, like for me, I have a hard time trusting. So if I delegated it, I'd be like, am I sure he's doing what he's supposed to do? Like, am I sure is she doing what she's supposed to do? How does that work for a GM?
It's a great question, LaVar, because you have to, like you say, you want to be the one that's on the road looking at everybody, but realistically, you can't really do that because there's so much that goes on in that building. And the most important thing for a GM is getting that head coach everything he needs on a day-to-day basis, the communication with the owner. So with doing all those things, you can't do them all from the road, staying in a Marriott in Tuscaloosa or something like this. It's not. You got to be in the building, so you really got to trust your scouts, your guys, to get on the road, get all that information. Now what you do is once you get into the offseason, you follow up with those things. You follow up. That's why the pro days are so awesome and the private workouts, because now you can get in the buildings. So I didn't go to USC during the season to see Drake, but we went and got to go in the building during to work them out and those things. So that's when you got to make sure once you get into that off season, it's grind mode, and that's when you can get more into it.
Jay, what were your biggest storylines really from from tonight.
Well, I think without a doubt, Ty Simpson going 13 to the Rams,
no
right?
doubt.
That's everyone's going to look at that, man. That was the biggest surprise,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think if you look at who did the best, because we were talked about who that kind of shocked you the most. For me, I love Dallas. Them getting a guy like Downs, they had so many problems on defense.
Huge get.
To get a guy like Caleb Downs, who can now just be this, it's like having a coach out there. Instantly makes them better, especially if you could use them the right way. But he's going to help out so much on that side of the ball, and they need a defense in a big way. But I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Jets won the first round. I can't believe I'm saying it.
They were aggressive.
Right? And, well, they got Cooper by trading back in. They got Sadiq, the only tight end in the first round, right? And then getting Bailey, who I think was looked at as the bona fide pure pass rusher.
It's quality players. Quality
really,
players.
really good draft for the
Yes.
Jets. But usually, used to people booing the Jets off the stage. Now I'm applauding the Jets for what they've done. Good job there by Moochie.
And great, love Moochie and Maugi and what he's doing there. And he is a process guy. And I have a lot of respect for him and the way he operates. And look, AG was a scout before he was even a coach.
Right.
So
with the Saints when you were with them, right?
Yeah, and even when he wanted to get into it, obviously he played for Parcells. And when he wanted to, all of a sudden, I want to be a coach, he said, you're going to go on the road and scout first. And so he gets into the process too. But you're right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the weapons that Geno Smith has right now with Cooper Jr., that kind of slot, that's a security blanket. And Sadiq, what you're going to do with him, and then the best pure pass rusher in the draft. I think they definitely hit it out the park in this one.
What about you,
LaVar? Carnell Tate is the winner for Ohio State. You have
He's the winner.
Yeah, he's the winner because he
Not the team?
Well,
Him?
yeah,
Not the
team,
Titans?
The team is the winner.
So you
but
love the pick.
I do. I like him. First
Even
of
all the way that high.
Because it's the development, right? You're seeing the trend. It's no different than when you get coaches from a coaching tree or whatever it may be. You're seeing the success of the defensive line, the defensive ends, and the receivers at Ohio State. It's translating in the NFL. You look at the top guys that are out there right now, a lot of them have come from Heartline's lineage of coaching. So I think it's a great win, but obviously going higher than the two defenders that I wouldn't have had Tate going before Styles or Reese. So he's the winner in terms of he gets the bragging rights when they show up for alumni events and Letterman events that he actually beat them in getting drafted first in the draft. But yes, Tennessee gets a quality player on top of that and with the draft.
One of my other highlights this year was obviously you hosting for us, and you have more of an inside line in these college players because what your day job is, more than all of us.
Yeah.
So it's great to have your insight, your personal insight with them. I don't have that. We don't have that. It's really, really cool, and that's something that no other host can give us.
I really appreciate that. It's so fun. Like I do feel really happy for these guys.
Right.
You kind of turn off reporter, and I'm just watching them with their families. And like I interviewed Sonny Styles. He was going to be my win for the night. And I interviewed him a couple weeks ago, and he thanked me. He was like, "Thank you for the time, for telling my story." Like those are the kind of quality guys. So
it's important.
I love doing this. But you guys are everything Jake. It blows me away. When do you put your phone away, though?
When Rosie makes me.
Like what time of night? And will it go off in the night?
It will now. That's it. It definitely will now. It absolutely will, no doubt. Yeah, no, but it doesn't. It sits up all night long, and people call. And people also know, like, hey, man, can you just call me later in the morning now? Like, they're on East Coast time. They're calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning, their time, which is 2 o'clock mine. And for 20 years, they still do it at the same time, even though I ask them not to. But, hey, I gotta be there and make sure I get the call. That's you were asking me about that earlier today, right?
You know what's cool, what's special about Jay, though? He obviously has all these unbelievable relationships, and there's a reason. It's because of how he operates. He does things the right way. I mean, there's no reason for you to answer my call this offseason. I'm not even with a team, and yet anytime I call, you're talking to me. And so I think that's what says who you truly are, because some people
Be
are
good
like
to good
that.
people.
With some people, it's
Not
about
hard, right? Yeah.
what you can do for me, but
Yeah.
that's why I think you're special.
I
what you
appreciate
do.
it, man. I appreciate it. And you got to see the little inside look of the madness today.
Oh, it's
A bit,
crazy,
right?
man. It's crazy. A lot going on. The best is like your notepad.
Which I can't really read, right? But
and there's an art to it,
right? Yeah, there is.
Like if somebody finds that thing somewhere, that they'll have no clue.
Have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, thankfully no one would know what's on there because I can't. It looks like gibberish.
Yeah,
That's
but I appreciate also the trust that people in the league do give me, so we can come out here and give our fans the most insightful broadcast you can get.
Yeah.
Any other highlights from you, LaVar? You good?
I mean, I just echo what you guys are saying. It's always a pleasure, super humbling to be in a room with so many intelligent people, well established and well traveled people. So just gives me an opportunity to continue to build my resume in a way where I can do it, more as it presents itself. So
that flew by. I honestly wish we had
This was
more
a
to
good one.
say. I have
Yeah.
a couple thank yous before we go from everyone behind the scenes. I know you guys are listening to us, but there's a lot of people that make this show happen. So social media gurus, Elijah, Sagar Shea, Imaging Vito Ricky, tech producer Alex T. We've got EP Justin Frostberg. So we're going to wrap this up. Jake
Shouts out to
Glazer,
you too, Scotty.
Jerry Fontenot, LaVar
Shouts out to
Arrington.
you, Scotty.
I'm Jenny Taft. Thank you guys for having me back. The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon is coming up next. That's a wrap on Draft Night Live on Fox Sports Radio.